Here we are. It's before the Bravos on the road. Game 2 of the postseason. Do or die, win or go home. It's the Bourne Braves and the Cotuit Kettleers from Lowell Park. Calvin Cristoforo and Nick Galley bringing you before the Bravos. And Nick, I said it last night, the stakes couldn't be any higher, but I lied to you. The stakes couldn't be any higher tonight when the Bravos do battle here at Lowell Park. It's quite simple. They score more runs than the Cotuit Kettleers. There's a game at Doran Park tomorrow. They score less runs than the Cotuit Kettleers. There's no game tomorrow.
Look at you go. You've really grown as a, analyst over this season.
I like to,
And there goes. That was the epitome of your analysis, I
like
think.
to keep it factual. I do.
You do?
That's one of my, people know me for my hard-hitting facts. Then I thought I would deliver you one right off the jump here.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we still got 3 more before the Bravos to go after today.
Yeah. We're in the same boat there. 4 at max.
After last night's game, I felt really, down, obviously. Like, I guess, I don't want to say lost hope, but it was a bad loss, no doubt about it. And the confidence that I had in this team last night was not high. But coming into the ballpark today, seeing the moods of these guys on this team, just kind of feeling the vibe, it was much better than I expected.
Okay.
And now I'm feeling good. I'm kind of feeling like it's the underdog story. And I was talking with the guys earlier. Do not let the Bourne Braves win tonight. We're going Kevin Millar type beat. Do not let the Bourne Braves win tonight, Cotuit, because if they do, your season is ending tomorrow.
Well, you said it, and you mentioned it earlier. You feel like this is the 2004 Boston Red Sox type beat tonight, Nick. The Bravos going for it again tonight, trying to even the series at 2. Let's go back to the game last night. You already touched on it. The Braves got, run over, essentially, is how you would put it. 15-6. They went down 7-0. They really never had you never looked at that game and said, wow, the Braves have a chance to win this game. That never came up.
No.
Right? So what's the key today? Your key to the series when we talked on Bravos Banter and on Before the Bravos yesterday was not allow the leadoff hitter in each inning on base. That didn't happen. My key was start with starting pitching. That didn't go very well, so we went 0 for 2 on what we needed to do to win the game, you and I. So what's the secret sauce today? I mean, those keys are obviously big, but give me something else the Bravos need to do to flip the switch and get back to the winning ways that they were on, all throughout the regular season.
What I'm about to say sounds like a fast food meal deal at a chain fast food restaurant.
Give it to me.
Today's plan of attack for Nick Galley, it's called the 5 and 5 here. And that means you got to score 5 runs in 5 innings.
The first 5 innings?
Yes.
Or does it matter?
No, the first 5 innings.
Okay.
Because assuming this Bourne pitching staff, assuming Austin Parsley comes out and has a, stellar outing like he has mostly done for the majority of the season, you think he can hold this Cotuit team to under 5 runs in 5 innings? I think he can. Do you?
Yes.
I think he
no
can.
Doubt about that. Austin Parsley's ERA is 2.
Exactly. So, if Bourne scores 5 runs in 5 innings, that's all you're going to need in case this game goes dark, because we know when the sun starts going down.
Give it to me, Nick. Give it to me.
Well, 3 runs or less, avoid the mess.
Okay.
But I got another one.
Yep.
When the sun starts going down, Mike Roberts' personality comes to town. And that personality, you know what that personality is? It's him trying to go into his bag of tricks and extend this game so Cotuit can grab a win as the sun goes down in a shortened game.
Well, we all know, Nick, quite frankly, I'm going to make another fact here. I'm going to put it plain and simple on the line. They play until it gets dark.
And there's no lights here.
No lights. They play until it gets dark here at Lowell Park. And the Bravos need to score before the sun goes down.
Yes.
Now, this game is pushed up. Cotuit starts out the season playing at 5. They move that up to 4:30 for the postseason to make sure they get it in. They started at 4, which is the first pitch time tonight. So the Braves, with a 4 o'clock start, you assume 9 innings is going to be played, but you can't take that for granted against a Cotuit team who beat you by 9 runs last night.
Especially if it's an offensive showdown tonight. Cotuit's pitching staff, a little bit DB right now.
Yeah,
that's what we say, down bad, baby.
Just a second.
Say down bad, baby. Might even be DH tonight, down horrendous.
Wow.
Might even be DH.
DH night, down horrendous. Well, let's get into that pitching staff a little bit. Cotuit had some starters at the end of the year, get banged up, leave town. So they were down to really one starting pitcher, and he threw last night. So now you look here, you get to the ballpark, and the word around the yard is it is staff day, what they like to call it.
Yeah.
You know, a simple word for bullpen day. So they're going with, you know, a guy who we saw last time in Maitland, the Division III product from UMass Dartmouth. He gets the start tonight. We don't know how long he's going to go. Is he a guy we're going to see for 1 inning, 2 innings? Are they going to extend him? A lot of question marks surrounding the pitching staff. So you got to like that if you're a Braves fan.
And last night I listened to Coach Mike Roberts in his post-game interview with Lauren Kirkley, Cotuit's sideline reporter. And, you know, she basically asked, what's the game plan for tomorrow? And he said
he didn't know.
He was going to sleep on it. Said he doesn't know who the starter is.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep on it. No one sleeps on your Game 2 starter. No one sleeps on that. That is code for I have no idea who's pitching tomorrow.
Well,
that's layman's term for I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, hopefully the Braves can take advantage of that and score and complete the 5-for-5. You know who's nobody is sleeping on is Austin Parsley.
No.
He's the Braves' number 2 starter, led the team in ERA, second in the West Division with an ERA just over 2 runs. Nobody's sleeping on him. He's getting the ball today. Reeves said it, he said it a little bit confusingly. He said you got to throw strikes, but you can't throw it over the plate.
Yes.
If he could do that, obviously the Braves win this game, but that is the challenge. How do you throw strikes effectively without Cotuit going off for 15 runs on 18 hits once again?
You got to paint the black. You got to hit corners. You know, I talked with Eddie Marco last night after the game, and he said we threw way too many balls over the plate. Like, you're supposed to throw strikes in this league, but you can't be throwing strikes. And what I mean by strikes are pitches that are just catching way too much of the plate. You have to dot corners. You got to move north to south. You got to change the eye level of the hitters here, because if you just throw stuff down the plate, we saw it last night, it's going to get smashed. It's going to get smashed.
No one has the baseball intellect like Nick Galley. When he starts bringing out the term, he's got to throw strikes. And I'm glad
you can't be throwing strikes.
I'm glad you mentioned Eddie Marco. I'm going to give Eddie Marco a shout-out here. Eddie Marco, great pitching coach for this Braves team, throws a great BP. We've been going back and forth a little bit over the past couple days. He said I'm the only part of the Braves media team that hasn't shouted out Eddie Marco on a broadcast. So I'm going to take that opportunity. Eddie, you've done a great job all season long. Thank you for what you've contributed to the Braves this season.
Kind of interesting.
I'm a big Eddie Marco fan.
Yeah, 38 games into the year are now, huh?
What the crowd wants, I provide.
All right, Calvin.
So,
okay.
So Eddie Marco making sure Austin Parsley throws strikes on the corner and get swing and miss strikes, not having those strikes, juicy strikes over the heart of the plate. So that's a tall task against a Cotuit team that, quite frankly, I'll rip the Band-Aid off, they're red hot.
Red hot.
They are scorching hot. Over 80 runs now in their last 7 games. They hit the cover off the baseball, so it's going to be a tough task. The Braves have shut their offense down a couple of times, but there's no bigger stage to do it than here at Lowell Park against a packed house, okay, and a very, very solid hitting offense, and a coach who loves to maneuver on the base pass and produce runs using small ball.
Yeah, I mean, he does some funky things.
Yeah.
Like last night I was on the broadcast with Reeves when Cotuit was up by 8 runs. Guys on first and second.
Can you repeat what the score was at the time?
They were up by 8 runs.
Up by 8 runs, okay.
Guys on first and second here. I forget what inning it was. It was like 7th or 8th. Let me look. I got my book with me. It was when Grady hit the 3-run home run. So it was in the 7th, top 7. And, does a sack bunt situation. Moves runners on first and second over to second and third. Then Grady hits the home run. I told Reeves, I was like, wow, thank God they bunted those guys over because, I mean, genius play by Roberts to have his guys already have to run those 90 feet on the base path so they don't have to worry about it on the home run. But it's just stuff like that. It's bizarre. And you really can't game plan for it. You can, but you don't know when it's going to come. And you just have to be ready for it. And it goes back to my initial point of this series. You have to limit leadoff base runners.
Yeah.
Because when leadoff guys get on, who knows what Roberts is going to do? He's going to do everything.
You don't know what he's going to do, and if he's doing that up by 8 runs,
he's going to do it up by 1.
What's he going to do down by 2 runs? What's he going to do in a tie game? You never know what type of rabbit Coach Roberts is going to pull out of his hat.
I will say this. It's annoying. I hate it.
Annoying.
But I respect the guy because he's a great coach.
How can you not?
I mean, he's a great coach. Like, at the end of the day, I'll say it. I pretty much dislike every move he makes. But that's a sign of a great coach. Why does everyone dislike Tom Brady? He's great. You know, Mike Roberts is a great coach.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for opponents.
It's frustrating, but the Braves need to break through that frustration to try to get a win here at Lowe Park to continue their quest for their second Cape Cod League title. We're about 15 minutes away
Man,
from
my nose.
first pitch.
My nose right
between
now.
the
Very Joe
Braves.
Lampe.
Nick's nose
This thing is running, man.
not ready to go.
This thing's running.
It's running.
It's like Joe Lampe, man.
It's
I'm
running
telling you.
like Joe Lampe, Calvin Cristoforo, Nick Galley, on Before the Bravos, your Braves pregame show, taking you up to first pitch between the Bravos and the Cotuit Kettleers here in Game 2 of the West Division Final. We talked about the defense. We talked about the Cotuit lineup. Let's flip the page to the Braves lineup, because if Cotuit scores 3 runs last night, no one says any questions or makes any remarks about the Braves' offense. 6 runs on 11 hits. Sure, some of those were in garbage time against back end of the bullpen guys for Cotuit, but the offense hasn't been a problem. 6 runs in this league, Joe Lampe was saying it, it should be enough to get it done.
Yeah,
because
it's
3
valuable.
runs or less, you avoid the mess.
Thank
so
you,
if you
Calvin.
get 6, the mess isn't avoided from the other side. And if your pitching staff holds up their part, you'll get a win.
Score 6, get your licks, man. I'm telling you.
I don't.
You get the dub.
3 runs or less was a good one. Strikes.
That was too
good.
much. I was trying too much.
Trying too hard.
I'm trying to get every single last one in.
Yep.
In case this really is
You're
the last
trying to
before the
empty out
Bravo.
empty out the pantry.
You have to.
Throw those Pop-Tarts on the table.
Yes. I mean, fair point, I suppose.
The Braves have to throw the Pop-Tarts out on the table tonight. They have to empty the pantry against the Braves. No, against Cotuit to try to get a win here at Lowe Park and make a Game 3 that'll be very interesting at Doran Park tomorrow. Let's go through the lineup the old-fashioned way. It's not a lot of changes. Spoiler alert. It's the same as it was last night, but it starts off with Christian Knapczyk, who's moving over to shortstop from second base, where he played last night. A 2-hit night, scored a couple runs at the top of the order. What can he do today, hitting in the leadoff spot again, to jumpstart the Braves' offense and make sure they get the first guy of every inning on base?
Yeah, one of the guys on this team with, one of the higher OBPs, so he's proven in the past he can be a great leadoff hitter. And last night he had a great night too. I know it's kind of going to go under the carpet with the way the game, ended.
I like that.
Under the carpet,
It's
yeah.
usually under the rug.
I'm using carpet.
All right, I like it.
I am using
do.
carpet, baby. Getting that higher vocab in, But yeah, obviously great night last night. Just keep doing what he's doing. I trust Knapp in the leadoff spot as much as I trust Joe Lampe. Those guys are interchangeable there. Also in the middle infield, Knapp and Schobel both interchangeable as well. So I feel good with either one of them at short and second.
Max Anderson hits behind him. He's hitting second. He provided the early offense for the Braves. It was 7-0. Cotuit, he made it 7-2 with a 2-run line drive double over the center fielder's head. He's back defensively over at third base, and he's hitting second in the lineup.
He struggles offensively on the road. He's unbelievable at home. I put out a stat yesterday. I forget exactly what he was hitting at home. I think it was something like 345. 100% of his home runs at Dorn. It was like 80% of his RBIs. Just gross stats at home.
Yeah.
On the road, he struggles a little bit, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does tonight. Last time he was here, too, also a couple defensive mishaps. You got to watch that.
I was going to say that. He's trying to wipe the slate clean from his last performance here at Lowe Park, where he had a rough day defensively, a rough day offensively. No better time to start with a clean slate and try to keep it rolling than in Game 2, a winner-take-all, not winner-take-all, but a must-win game for the Braves here in Game 2. Dalton Rushing, who struck out a hat trick of times last night, 3 strikeouts for Dalton Rushing. I'm sure that's not going to happen again today. He's hitting third, and it really feels like Dalton Rushing is just a ticking time bomb for a game where he explodes with a home run and 5 or 6 RBIs.
Well, he needs to do that today. I mean, you got to have Dalton Rushing's offense in your lineup. You need the production if you want to win a baseball game, especially against a Cotuit Kettleers team that's smoking. So, need to see Rushing bounce back after last night. I'm sure we will.
I hope we do too, because the Braves need it. Guy who has been really, really solid down the stretch is Tanner Schobel. He's looking to keep it rolling tonight, batting in the 4 spot, cleaning up again a 3-hit performance again last night against Cotuit. With guys on base in front of him, he's going to bring them in. It's just can the guys in the top of the order get on for Tanner Schobel, the drive man? Because there's nobody right now you would rather have at the dish for the Braves than Tanner Schobel.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent Tanner Schobel. I mean, he has been fantastic ever since he started playing daily, and he really earned his playing time. This was a guy that was on one day, off the next, on one day, off the next, maybe off a couple days, on the next, and now he is a centerpiece of this Bourne lineup. He's batting cleanup. Unbelievable improvement from him, and certainly going to help his draft stock for next year.
Well, that's 1 through 4 in the Braves order. We tell you how they like to go with the double leadoff hitter, not at the 9 spot, but at the 5 spot. So it restarts with Joe Lampion, who's hitting 5th tonight in center field. You just love to see him get on base in the middle of the Braves lineup. We talk about his on-base percentage. He can get on with a hit, get on with a walk. You'd love to see him do that in the heart of the Braves lineup tonight.
He's got to do whatever it takes. He's a guy who gets hit by a pitch a lot too. I mean, It's been hit I think 7 times on the regular season, and I know he's told me like I could have been hit a lot more times, but I've ducked out of the way of a lot of pitches.
Well, it hurts.
It hurts, yeah. It's
It
not
hurts.
fun. It's not fun, but that's just one of the reasons Joe Lamby has a high OBP. I mean, the guy knows how to get on base in every single way possible.
Braves are going to need that.
Yeah.
From him, get on base for Hunter Jump, who had his first solid base hit in a Braves uniform last night. You'd love to keep it rolling from him, trying to continue to produce hard contact and drive guys in out of that 6 spot, because if you can get a boost for Hunter Jump in the bottom half of this order, that is a major, major factor of the Braves lineup.
Huge. Hunter Jump isn't a bottom of the order guy, so when he's hitting down there, you kind of have like a middle of the order, top of the order guy hitting down low, and that can be really helpful if he's producing. Last night hopefully gave him some confidence to produce tonight, because as you had mentioned, bottom of the order, you need that production for your top of the lineup guys. So Bourne hasn't gotten that, more times than not, so he could definitely use it tonight.
I'd love to see a run batted in.
Yeah.
Hunter Jump out of the
How about a ding dong?
I mean, yeah, but think small. I'd like to start with a run batted in.
Think small, Calvin.
I'd
Say
rather
go big,
start
baby, go
with
big.
An RBI. So we'll see if Hunter Jump can produce out of the 6th spot tonight. Ben Huber is hitting 7th once again. He's DHing. Had an RBI knock last night. You'd love to see the big guy continue to hit the ball hard.
Yeah, he has been. I mean, the guy just comes onto the Cape and looks like he's been playing here the whole year. I mean, he's been great at the dish, and definitely a much-needed bat for Harvey Shapiro to drive in runs. Because Braylon Wimmer leaving, Caden Wallace leaving, you needed someone to be a run producer. Ben Huber's been that guy.
So he's hitting 7th. Colby Thomas, who's been really boom or bust at times this season, is another guy who, if there's any bigger game to boom in, it's tonight. You'd love to see Colby Thomas get into one and drive it over the 320 side in left field.
He's been his best when he sees the ball low, so he's going to need to do that tonight. We've been seeing him kind of pop up again. I know last night he popped up in a pretty big situation. I believe guys on 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and I want to say he popped up to the first baseman. And then Peter Burns popped up to the catcher, I believe, and now that got Bourne out of that inning. So Colby Thomas, see the ball low, drive it, hands through, bada bing, bada boom, you go over the fence.
Bada bing,
bada boom.
Hopefully the Braves offense can bada bing, bada boom as a whole tonight. But you'd love to see Colby Thomas hit the ball on the screws in the 8th spot tonight. He's playing in right field. Peter Burns back behind the plate. He's catching, hitting 9th. The guy who is so critical to this team, especially defensively, with the way Cotuit likes to run the bases.
Best defensive catcher on the squad, no doubt about it. If his offense comes around too, all the better. We saw him get that walk-off hit about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And when he does stuff like that, you just absolutely love to see it from Peter Burns. Because catcher position, since Bender's been gone, not too much production from it. So I'd like to see some more offensive production there for the guys at the top of the lineup.
So hopefully the bottom of the order can produce Huber, Thomas, and Burns. If you can get, 4 or 5 combined hits from them, I think it's going to be a positive outcome for this Braves offense. We went through it 1-9. I got to get your pick to pop, Nick.
Ooh, we're gonna stick with what's been working. I'm gonna go Tanner Schobel tonight.
So you took me, who I won last night when I took Tanner Schobel.
Yep.
So you're going Tanner Schobel. I'm going Dalton Rushing. Hit a home run the last time he was at Lowell Park. Trying to do that again today. Hopefully it's not just a solo shot and a 13-2 loss. Hopefully there's runners on base. It's an impactful home run, because when Dalton Rushing's going good, he's going great. And he really rejuvenates the Braves offense. So that's our picks to pop. But we need a key. You said you've given me a couple of keys, but for this game specifically, Game 2, Not the series, not game one, at Lowell Park in Cotuit, game 2 of the series. Give me a key for the Braves' success.
Do whatever it takes to win.
I love it.
I'm going to be cliche, but I mean, truly, just I don't care what you do today. I really don't. Do whatever it takes to win because you win today or your season's over. You win today or your season's over. And I told these guys, I said, you guys win today, you're going home with the ring. I mean, this is a game. This is the game right here.
This is the game. The Braves gotta have it if they want to continue their season. Cotuit looking to advance to the Cape Cod League Championship Series. The Braves looking to prevent them from doing that and trying to keep their hopes alive. It should be a ton of fun here at Lowell Park between the Braves and the Kettleers. Game 2 of the West Division Finals. What can be any better? Reeves and Daniel have the call here from Cotuit. First pitch is right around the corner. We'll have the national anthem, and they'll break down the starting lineups from each side on the other side. Game 2, Nick. It's going to be a blast.
Hey, we got to shake hands.
Shake hands off air, off camera.
Of course.
Shake hands. Everyone at home, enjoy the game, everybody.
The Bourne Braves look to try to stave off elimination in a pivotal Game 2 of the Western Division playoffs against the Cotuit Kettleers. From venerable Lowell Park, Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates welcoming you in to a big game here at Lowell Park in Cotuit. The Bourne Braves, the Cotuit Kettleers, West Division playoffs, Daniel. It does not get bigger than this right here.
No, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, an elimination game against our rivals on the road at Lowell Park. It's a beauty. It's a little sticky here, a little humid, but it is tangible how much tension there is in the atmosphere, and you can just feel that this is an intense and important game as the Cotuit Kettleers take to the field. And no changes in the lineup. However, there's a couple of defensive switches. Most notably, that's going to be for Tanner Schobel switching with Christian Knapczyk, that short in second position, as well as Brett Roberts taking over for the third base side for Carter Trice.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, no changes in the Braves lineup. But last night, Daniel, this was a Bourne Braves team that actually put up 6 runs on 11 hits. So by their means, a very, very solid night at the park. But on the other side, the flip side of things, the Kettleers 15 runs on 18 hits. But going back to the Bourne bats tonight, something they didn't do last night was they fell behind early. Obviously, that doesn't fall on them. A 3-run second for Cotuit, followed by a 4-run third. What do the bats need to do tonight, maybe in the first or second inning, to get out to an early lead?
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Louisville Cardinals really need to produce tonight at the 1 spot and at the 3 spot. I mean, Christian Knapczyk, Dalton Rushing, both guys who are batting over 300 against righty and lefty hitters. So they need to really set the tone. Max Anderson with a quiet night last night. Dalton Rushing with 3 strikeouts. That can happen. The key to this game is getting out to a lead, and hopefully a substantial one at that. As if the series continues to follow this pattern, I guess we're expecting to see a blowout from the Braves today?
Maybe so. Who knows? Well, for Cotuit, obviously, they had 2 big blows. They lost Jake Brooks, their UCLA starting pitcher, and they lost Dalton Rogers, their Southern Miss starting pitcher. Last night, they had Quinn Matthews, their best pitcher remaining, not even close as far as starters go. He was excellent. 5 innings of 1-run baseball, struck out 9 against this Braves team. And today, the Kettleers turning to a guy making his first start this season from UMass Dartmouth in Logan Maitland. Logan last appeared against the Braves on July 27th. That was in a big Kettleers win. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 walk, no strikeouts, and no runs given up for Maitland. So making his first start today, I'm guessing the game plan for the Braves, Daniel, is they have to be aggressive.
They have to be aggressive. They got to go up. No more conservative baseball. You need to be attacking a pitch that is yours. It all starts with Christian Knapczyk, Max Anderson, Dalton Rushing, and then it goes Tanner Schobel, Joe Lampe, Ben Huber, Hunter Jump, Colby Thomas, and Peter Burns. I honestly, Reeves, think that we're going to see production from the top half of the lineup. I think the question mark for today is going to be the 7 spot, Hunter Jump. He got a base hit late in the game last night, kind of in garbage time. I'm looking for him to be really productive today in the 7 spot.
Well, Maitland is almost ready to go as we get set for Game 2 here at Lowell Park. A 4 p.m. first pitch. It's just 3 minutes after we'll get underway. Maitland kicks, he fires, and a first pitch strike begins today's game at 89 from Lowell Park. Defensively for the Kettleers, here's how they line up today. Left to right, it's the same. Matt Suggs, Jace Grady, and Noah Bridges, third to first. You mentioned Brett Roberts in there at third, as Knapczyk takes a breaking ball away, 1-1. At short, Ryan Ritter, and at second, obviously, Eric Brown Jr., one of the most iconic combinations up the middle in the CCBL this season. Nathan Martorell is at first, battery combination once again, Donlin and Maitland the pitcher, as that fastball at 89 misses away. 2-1 here to Christian Knapczyk, who has 6 multi-hit games in his last 11, including a 2-hit performance in his postseason debut a night ago. Here's Knapczyk, chopper up the middle. Tough play for Brown, has to hurry, and Knapczyk beats the wrap. It's a leadoff single and a good start for the Braves today.
I call it a Christian Knapczyk infield single because we've seen it time and time again. That's a reason why he's one of the leaders in average on this team. He does it with the bat. Doesn't necessarily have the most power on the team, but he has one of the highest speeds going down the first base line, and he just proved it again against a really impressive Eric Brown Jr. at second, and he had a good flip, did not beat the Cardinal.
Here's Max Anderson. He drove in the Braves' first runs of the postseason with a 2-run double over the head of Jace Grady a night ago as they check on Knapczyk. The speedster is tied for the lead in stolen bases on this Bourne team with 6. He's tied with Joe Lampe. Joe is hitting in the 5-hole today. Another check for Maitland over there on the speedy Knapczyk. Well, if there's a guy that drives this Braves offense, you look at right here, the Cornhusker number 2 in Max Anderson. Boy, what a year he had, and once he came to the Cape a few weeks late, really inserted himself as one of the best hitters. He chops this one over deep in the hole at short. Ritter gloves, long throw across the diamond. They got him. What a play by Ryan Ritter. Phenomenal throw across his body, and Anderson retired.
Bang, bang play. It was as close as it's going to get. How about that throw from Ritter? all the way across his body, moving towards third. That's about as good of an infield play as you're going to see here.
That'll bring up Dalton Rushing. Don't forget, Knapczyk moves up to second. Ball was hit so deep in the hole they had no shot at the force at the speedy Louisville Cardinal. Now, another Louisville Cardinal. He drove in his teammate a night ago. Rushing had an RBI single late in that game. Came in the 7th. Maitland out of the stretch. His first pitch is a breaking ball. At the back foot of Rushing, he takes it inside and low at 84, 1-0 the count.
Both good signs. I know Max Anderson just grounded out, but the fact that we are aggressive with the balls that are out in front, I know it's 2 choppers and Christian Knapczyk was able to beat it out, but it's a good sign overall that we're making contact at the top of the order early and often.
Rushing takes a cut and misses at an 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball there from Logan Maitland. Well, if there's any hitter maybe as hot as Max Anderson, it's Dalton Rushing, and then Tanner Schobel in the 3 and 4 spots. Rushing has hit safely in 8 of his last 9, 12 for 31 in that span. And the red-hot Tanner Schobel is in the on-deck circle for the Braves. Maitland ready? He'll do a little inside move and check on Knapczyk, but nothing doing over there. Only 1 walk issued by the Cotuit pitching staff last night. Just 4 overall in the game, and for a game that featured 21 runs combined, rare to just see 4 walks. A lot of base knocks for each side as a breaking ball finds the top of the zone 1 and 2.
And going back to Logan Maitland, the most he's pitched is 3 innings. This is his first game started for the Cotuit Kettleers coming from UMass Dartmouth. So got to keep an eye on him and his endurance as this game progresses.
Big pitch here early in the game with the runner at second. 1-2 from Maitland. Breaking ball that Rushing spoils over towards the Braves dugout and foul. As you mentioned for Bourne tonight, no changes in their lineup. The only change defensively, Knapczyk to short, Schobel to second. The same thing for the Kettleers. Same lineup. Brett Roberts takes over at third today. Carter Trice, who was pulled for Figueroa a night ago. Trice is the designated hitter. But the exact same 1 through 9 for Cotuit as with the Bourne Braves. 1-2. Rushing lines us into right field, a base hit. Fielding it is Bridges. Knapczyk coming around third. Bobbled out in right field, and the Braves strike first. Rushing scores Knapczyk, and it's 1-0.
Dalton Rushing coming off a 1-for-4 game. Sets the tone early here at Lowell Park. The Braves draw first blood. What a rope over the head of Eric Brown Jr. Nothing he could do. He was actually close to getting it, jumping as high as he possibly could. And the bobble out in right center is really what allowed Christian Knapczyk to score, and Harvey Shapiro showing he's going to be aggressive on the base path, sending him home.
Here's Tanner Schobel, who is 17 for 42 over his last 11 games in which he has hit safely in 10 of them. A breaking ball taken on the outer half, strike 1. Well, what was our number 1 key on the top of the broadcast? Score first, because that gives you the momentum. The Braves, when they score first this year, have been quite deadly. And they got the hands of Austin Parsley on the mound as Schobel skies this one into center field. Jace Grady started in, takes a step back, camps under it, and makes the catch for out number 2.
Tanner Schobel 3 for 5 yesterday. He has been a key part of the lineup, and he's moving up. Always used to see him in the 9 spot, maybe even the 6 or 7 spot. Now seeing him in the 4 spot when it matters most, and behind him, Joe Lampe, who was often seen as the leadoff. That was really early on in the season, and Joe Lampe has been experimented at a couple of different spots.
Yeah, we've seen him at the leadoff spot. We've seen him down in the 9 hole, at the 6 hole, at the 7 spot, and now finally settles in into the 5 hole in this Braves lineup come postseason time. Here's the first pitch to Joe Lampe at 92, a strike on the outer half, and 0-1. Nothing in 1. Breaking ball down low. Well, for Dalton Rushing's at bat, just a heavy dose of the breaking ball, and it found a little too much of the plate. Dalton Rushing rarely misses those pitches. Well, I'd be remiss if I did mention the incredible crowd we have today here at Lowell Park. As that one misses downstairs, by far and away the best atmosphere we have seen here in the CCBL this season. A great atmosphere last night at Dorn Park, but nothing quite beats the show out here at Cotuit.
And get this, Reeves, that is Maitland's 2nd run allowed in 8 appearances on the season. So the Braves are on him in his first start.
A 2-2 finds the outer half. to Joe Lampy. So count even, 2 away, rushing aboard at first after the RBI single scored Christian Knapczyk. And the Braves lead it 1-0 on 2 base knocks, an infield single from Knapp, and a base hit to right by Rushing. Mailing ready, 2-2, and Lampy lays off that. And we'll have a payoff pitch, which will ignite Dalton Rushing to be on the move with 2 down. Lampy leads this team in free passes. We mentioned it last night, 21 walks for a guy who spent a lot of his time this season in the Braves' leadoff spot. But here in the postseason, Christian Knapczyk, who also spent a good amount of time, about equal. 3-2. That's outside. That's ball 4, and the Braves send another runner into scoring position here for Hunter Jump.
And what have we talked about all season? It's of being effective with 2 outs against you. And now we have a runner in scoring position, Dalton Rushing at second, Joe Lampy at first. And now we're going to have Hunter Jump in the 6th spot. He's going to step in from Arizona State, transfer to the University of Kentucky. He had a base knock late in yesterday's blowout loss to Cotuit. This game, too, is off to a hot start for the Braves.
Jump first pitch. A strike outside at 91 from Maitland. As you mentioned, Jump had that base hit to left. He also had the only Bourne Braves walk of the night, so he was on base 2 times. It was just his second hit in a Braves uniform, but it was a nice knock over the third baseman's head into left field. 0-1 from Maitland. That's outside. A fastball up and away.
We talked about a depleted bullpen for the Cotuit Kettleers. Brooks from UCLA was really the guy, and their ace throughout the entire season. He's out, and really having to stick with Maitland, who hasn't started a game throughout this season. He's been one of the most effective pitchers. He's a bit wild here as he misses again on the outside corner with a breaking ball, 2-1. But he's a bit wild and just hasn't found the zone just yet. He's only gone 3 innings at his max, so we'll see what he has to do today. He's already let up a run.
Well, you want to know how much of a decision it was to actually decide on who was going to start this game. First the 2-1, and Jump skies this one foul out of play. That's parking lot down here at Cotuit. We didn't know who the starting pitcher was going to be for Cotuit until a little after 2:30, 2:45. So Mike Roberts really taking his time to figure out who he wanted to get the ball. We saw a guy like Fruit who got the ball against the Braves. That was in the 13-2 Cotuit blowout win. The Braves won 13-1 2 times ago, and then obviously last night 15-6 Kettleers. Deuces wild here, 2-2. Breaking ball inside, and once again another full count upcoming. Well, if there's one thing you're doing here to Maitland is you're really rising that pitch count high.
Yeah, and if I'm Roberts, I'm not letting Maitland go more than 3 innings. I think you got to use all of your assets in the bullpen, especially for a guy who's starting his first game on the Cape.
Payoff pitch, runners go. Jump swings, hits this one down the left field line. Over goes Suggs, and that one drifts foul out of play. A lot of foul territory here at Lowell Park. The dimensions of this field go as such. 320 down the lines to left and right field, and 397 to center. But Calvin Cristoforo described it pretty solidly. It's a short 397. We saw Caden Wallace really torch one over that center field wall back when Bourne was here earlier this season.
And we also saw Dalton Rushing with a solo shot over the right field wall. It's also a launching pad when you have wind going out to center field towards the scoreboard.
3-2 once more. It's a breaking ball and a called strike 3. Jump is rung up on strikes. And a nice job there by Logan Maitland to work out of a first and second jam. But the Braves get a run, a leadoff single by Knapczyk, and the other Louisville Cardinal, Dalton Rushing, drives him home. And the Braves are on the board first. It's the Braves 1, and the Kettleers are coming up. Bottom of the first inning, Kettleers due up for their first opportunity today. And boy, do they have a whirlwind of a night at the plate last night. 15 runs on 18 hits. But Daniel, today they get the Braves staff ace, in my opinion personally, and the right-hander from UNC Greensboro, Austin Parsley.
I'm very excited to see Austin Parsley. We talked about this throughout the entire regular season. Who is going to be that one-spot starter? Who's going to be Game 2 starter? We saw Sansone. He struggled early. He left a couple breaking balls out and really just out to dry for these Cotuit Kettleers batters who are as hot as any team on the Cape at the moment. However, if there's one guy who's going to cool them off, I think it's going to be Austin Parsley. I think he's our ace, and I'm expecting big things from him today.
Well, this first pitch is taken hard on the ground and into right field. A leadoff single for Jace Grady, who might not be just the hottest hitter on this Bourne Braves team, but the hottest hitter in the Cape League in general. Came into this game with a 9-game hitting streak. You can make that 10. And after a 2-hit night last night, one of which included a 3-run homer to right center, a 6-game multi-hit streak for Jace Grady and just 2 strikeouts in his last 35 ABs.
Yeah, not to mention Grady had 4 RBIs on top of that. First pitch swinging, he just dialed up the first pitch, guessed right, and Parsley now has to deal from the stretch.
Here is Carter Trice, 2-0 hitter, the DH, and Austin Parsley at 88, a strike on the outer half. Well, if there's one thing Parsley has done consistently all year, it's throw strikes and paint the corners. 36 strikeouts for Austin on the year, just 1 free pass issued, a 2.05 ERA. It's his 8th appearance of the season, going back to the regular season, and just his 4th start. So half of his appearances. And now on the move, here is Jace Grady. Peter Burns could not get it out of the glove. It's going to be a stolen base for Grady, who also had one of those a night ago.
Just like that, Kettleers in scoring position. Jace Grady again with a stolen base. Roberts is about as aggressive a base running coach as you're going to see. He'll send him. He might even think about sending him to 3 here. So you got to keep your eyes open.
Well, the Kettleers were a perfect 3 for 3 on stolen base attempts last night, and this one is hit off the end of the bat and fouled down the left field line. So count goes to 0-2. Here to Carter Trice. It was a called strike on the second pitch in which Grady went down to second, so Trice stays alive. Still 0-2. Carter Trice just 3 for his last 29 at the plate. Just a 103 clip he's hitting at, so if there's any guy the Braves can go to get out in this hot lineup, well, there's not many, but Trice might be one of them. But he's hitting high in the order at the 2 spot. 0-2 from Parsley. Fastball just missed. A little low. The guys you got to worry about outside of Jace Grady, I think you can agree here, Daniel, is Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown Jr. The 3 and 4 hitters in the dynamic duo of this Kettleers lineup. Just wait till Ritter gets up, and let me read you the numbers on this kid. 1-2 from Austin. Fastball, a high one that Trice protects and fouls out of play into the trees behind us.
Yeah, this is going to be a big moment, especially for not just the defense, but Parsley in particular if he wants to go the distance. You let up your first hit. Okay, the ice is broken. Now you have Jace Grady who stole a base. Okay, now you're dealing from the stretch. You got to keep an eye on the man at second. There's no outs, bottom of the first, but you're still leading by 1. So you have the upper hand, but the scoring run is right there. And if they're able to get out of this without letting up any runs, talk about momentum fully on our side.
Absolutely. The 1-2 fastball at 90 missed low for Parsley. 2-2 now the count. As Schobel is the second baseman for the Braves today. We'll get you their defensive positioning after this. 2-2, bounced over to short. That moves Grady to third. Knapcheck fields it. His throw over to first base is in time for out number 1. So productive out for the Kettleers and Carter Trice. They now have a man 90 feet away from scoring. And the Kettleers in danger of tying this game up here in the first. Defensively for the Braves, they line up like this. Left to right, Hunter Jump, Joe Lampe, and Colby Thomas. Third to first, same as yesterday. Max Anderson, other than the short and second. Christian Knapcheck at short, Tanner Schobel at second, and Dalton Rushing at first. Battery combination, once again, Peter Burns and Austin Parsley. As Ryan Ritter digs in. We talked about Jace Grady being hot. Ryan Ritter is on another planet. As Parsley from the stretch, first pitch, a fastball, and a called strike. Ryan Ritter now on a 12-game hitting streak. You can date that back to the regular season. Had a 2-hit night last night. Is 20 for his last 38. That's a 5.26 average. That's unbelievable.
That's outstanding stuff from a guy coming in with the best average in the regular season. Parsley's going to have quite a duel here, especially when you think about if he can get him down on strikes here. He's now up 0-2. Then you're dealing with the 4 spot. Eric Brown Jr., of course, incredibly dangerous as well in the 4 spot. But then any routine fly ball or ground ball is going to end this inning, and the Braves can escape with no runs allowed.
0-2. A fastball, and that's taken out of play. So nice job here by Ryan Ritter to protect with 2 strikes, as our home plate umpire tonight gets a few balls from our bat boy on the Cotuit side, and a fist bump from Eric Brown to boot. Cotuit in their classic uniforms, might be the best in the league. They're pinstriped unis with Cotuit across the chest. Have the navy blue helmets at the plate. And the Bourne Braves in their classic road unis, and in my opinion, the cleanest road uniforms. 0-2. This one taken shallow into right field. In comes Colby Thomas. It's tough to run on him. Here comes Grady. Colby Thomas's throw. Grady just faked the run. He returns to third. And a great job there by Colby Thomas, who keeps Grady at bay, and the Braves are 1 out from escaping with no runs here.
Great stop by Peter Burns. He didn't have the backup. It was a tough throw from Colby Thomas, and he was solely responsible for keeping Jace Grady at third.
Here's Eric Brown Jr., who holds the bat in front of his helmet, now pulls back, lines it to left field. Over goes Hunter, jump makes the catch, and the Braves escape with a scoreless first inning. Nice job by Austin Parsley, who leaves a man at third with less than 2 outs. As we head to the second from Lowell Park, it's the Braves 1, the Kettleers 0. You're listening to the Bourne Braves YouTube audio stream. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back after a quick break. Braves back to the plate, top of the second inning. Due up the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Bourne Braves. Ben Huber, Colby Thomas, and Peter Burns, as Huber had an excellent night in the game 1 of this postseason matchup between Cotuit and Bourne. Huber 2 for 3, had an RBI single to right field as well. That scored Tanner Schobel for the Braves. In the middle going of that game, he takes a first pitch breaking ball from Maitland at 76 for strike 1. Oh, one, another breaking ball, back-to-back here to Huber. This one misses into the left-handed batter's box. What have you seen thus far from Maitland, whose pitch count to enter this inning was 25? So Bourne made him throw some pitches. What have you seen from him thus far? First the 1-1.
27 pitches, now 28. He's found the strike zone there, high for strike number 2 to Huber. But I got to say, he's been kind of all over the place, but the pitches that have been over the plate, the Braves have taken advantage of. Not there, though.
Huber goes down looking on a fastball painted on the outer half. Good pitch as Huber tries to fill in Colby Thomas a little bit, just as all these Braves hitters do, as Colby digs in. Last night for Colby Thomas,
Hey, let's go, Colby.
he was 0 for 4, reached on an air, popped out, and struck out twice. First pitch here from Maitland, a fastball that he spits on down and away. Want to know the count.
But as I was saying, I think Maitland just needs to focus more on hitting the zone. And if you're the Braves, continue to be aggressive. You know this guy really, once he hits inning number 3, he's getting up there in his pitch count. And you've been able to work the count. Even if those are outs, you're able to foul a couple off, really extend those at-bats and extend those battles and see what the Cotuit bullpen can do.
2-0. Colby Thomas, check swing. Ball hits off the bat, foul towards the Braves dugout. Braves in the first base dugout today. Cotuit in their third base dugout, as they always are. The Cotuit white logo painted behind home plate. A big backstop here at Lowell Park. Something that is very notable here. 2-1. Nice pitch. A fastball. Almost looks like a bit of a cutter from Maitland. Has some late break to it. And the count goes to 2-2.
Yeah, it dips off a bit. Colby Thomas coming in 0 for 4 yesterday. However, he's dropped in the lineup to the 8 spot. We've seen him at the 4 spot and the 5 spot. He takes a breaking ball outside, full count. However, it's your pick to pop for tonight.
It was. It was my pick to pop off the here. I like what Colby's been doing. Outside of last night, was 4 for his last 7 coming into yesterday's postseason game, and rips a base hit into left field. Good start for Colby Thomas, and the Braves have a runner aboard with 1 out here in the second.
Great piece of hitting from Colby Thomas. He worked the count, didn't get his pitch until a 3-2 count. Peter Burns, the 9 spot, my BC guy.
Yes, indeed.
He's behind the plate once again. Dalton Rushing took over for him late in that blowout game last night at Bourne Park. Peter Burns, though, has an opportunity with a man on base.
You talk about Peter Burns working his butt off last night. First the 0-0 that Burns chops foul. Calvin last night said that Pete was throwing up into the trash can due to just exhaustion and the heat last night, and didn't really feel great before the game. So for Pete to come out there and catch as much as he did, that is bravo to him. He is a warrior behind the plate. One of the captains you could call on this Braves team. And back in the lineup and catching here today, Dalton Rushing caught the final few frames of last night's game. 0-1 the count. A check over there on Colby Thomas. And Maitland ready to go again with the 0-1.
There
on
goes
the move
Thomas.
is Colby. Here's the throw from Donlin. It is. Oh, wow. Colby slid off the bag at second. And the tag applied there by Ryan Ritter. Initially, Colby Thomas was safe, but a slide off the back of the bag, and he's called out for out number 2.
Really unfortunate. If he had stayed on the bag, he was safe
By a mile.
by a pretty decent ways, but just slid off, and now Peter Burns has to do it with Maitland now from the windup.
2-1. He watches a changeup at 84 miss away. 2-1. Bit of a hazy sky above us here at Lowell Park. Behind us, those sunny skies where we are set up on the first base broadcast deck. This one popped up. Shallow outfield out is Eric Brown. He makes the catch for out number 3. Braves get a single, but a caught stealing and a pop out, and sings for Bourne on the top of the second. We head to the home half for the Braves leading 1-0. Noah Bridges gets us started here in the bottom of the second inning. Austin Parsley, boy, did he escape trouble in the home half of the first inning. And now deals with the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Kettleers, leading 1-0 here in Game 2 of the Western Division playoffs. Parsley's first pitch, a fastball and a called strike on the inner half at 90.
How about the composure from Parsley with a man on third in Jace Grady, a hard-hit line drive from Eric Brown Jr., and something I've been as impressed by as Austin Parsley's pitching has been defensively. Hunter jump in left field. He's got a lot of action there. That one taken high for a pop-up.
Popped up infield. Parsley wants it in foul territory, and he has it kick off the heel of the glove and slaps the ground in frustration. Parsley doesn't make the catch, but the count goes to 0-2. Something also about Austin Parsley, they were talking with his mom and his family, that Austin is, this summer, believe it or not, also completing his master's in international business. He's been completing his last 2 classes this summer. Took his final exam just about a week ago, so congratulations to Austin, who is really multitasking here this summer, pitching like a gem and also scholastically doing phenomenally. That fastball at 91 just misses. Good spot.
Missed by a hair.
On the outer half.
On the outer half. This is Bridges, who had 2 hits last night. He had an RBI, a really solid start of the latter half of the lineup.
1-2 change up, and that sets down Bridges. Beautiful pitch there by Parsley, and that records the first Braves out here in the second.
Way to respond by Parsley. The only real negative effect of dropping that foul ball was just adding 2 to his pitch count. He responds, though, with Bridges, strikes him out, and adds a little to his stat sheet.
Here's Brett Roberts, and talk about the definition of highway robbery for Brett Roberts as a first pitch fastball. Parsley a machine right now with first pitch strikes, a fastball at 90. Brett Roberts with what you could call about as clear of a home run as I have ever seen. That was called a ground rule double. Well, Cotuit wasn't lacking the rest of that inning. They got a 2-run home run from Matt Suggs. He's tonight's 8-hole hitter. Roberts hitting 6th. And he's in the field tonight at third base. Swings and misses through a fastball upstairs after a second pitch ball. 1-2 is the count. Just 1 hit for Cotuit. That was a leadoff single by Jace Grady. Fastball that Roberts somehow goes up and connects with. Back to the screen. Foul.
Well, geez, every Cotuit Kettleer yesterday was batting. Roberts including. He was 1 for 5. 1 RBI as well, so he was batting when it really mattered.
Over to Short. Big hop there for Knapchak. He loads and fires to Rushing for out number 1.
So there he is, Christian Knapchak moving over to the shortstop position from second base last night. Tanner Schobel was there. He had a couple impressive plays. However, Harvey Shapiro opting to switch those 2 in the middle of the infield. Really interchangeable. One of the best dynamic duos, of course. The other being Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown Jr. So really good defense we're going to see up the middle.
Here is Martorella, who watches the changeup miss down and away. The left-handed slugger, first baseman for the Kettleers, blasted a 2-run home run to the Braves bullpen last night. Part of a massive night for Martorella. He was 3 for 5, 3 RBIs. Fastball finds the outer half, called strike at 90, 1-1. Parsley working quick. That's what you got to love about him. Not much time to spare as Martorella spoils this one. Foul past the first base bag. That was another changeup there from Parsley, who's been working in those secondary pitches frequently, a lot more frequently than he has this season, the first time through the order. But postseason calls for whatever measures you need to take. 1-2. This one is popped up. Appears to be in play. Over goes Burns. Max Anderson as well makes the catch right near the Cotuit dugout railing. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Austin Parsley as we head to the third here at Lowell Park. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you here. Top of the third inning. Logan Maitland back on the mound, number 47 for the Kettleers in the high socks. Those red stockings. I guess you could call it maroon, the Cotuit colors. As the Braves hear this inning, Daniel, as you put the shades on and get ready to take us through innings number 3 and 4. They got a good part of the order up here at the top of the order, and with that, Daniel, send it over to you to take it over.
Thank you, Reeves. Again, impressive first 2 innings of play-by-play. We're going to start the top of the third the way we started the top of the first. The 1-2-3, Knapczyk, Anderson, and Rushing due up. We scored a run back in the top of the first. Other than that, scoreless here in Cotuit. 1-0. The Braves have the lead early on, and Christian Knapczyk coming up with his second plate appearance. He singled back in the top of the first. Maitland remains on the mound. And a breaking ball low and in the dirt for ball 1. Knapczyk last night was 2 for 5. Again, so important at the top of the lineup. As I said, the key to this game is Louisville Cardinals producing, and he has. As that breaking ball catches the upper half, 0-2 now. Maitland looking to scratch the 40 mark, swing and a miss. Now 1-2 on a nasty breaking ball from Maitland.
Yeah, beautiful curveball there from Maitland. That fastball that he was throwing before, it almost looks like a two-seamer. Now, it looked like a cutter for a minute, almost like a two-seamer with a lot of bite towards the outer half as that misses with the breaking ball. But, Daniel, that two-seamer from Maitland, he's been effective with that pitch. Just almost looks like a changeup, but obviously coming in at 89 or 90. Very effective pitch.
It's almost as if he should just stick with that breaking ball. His fastball sits in the high 80s. It's a 2-2 count. That one drifts a bit high, and a full count coming for Knapczyk, who's 1 for 1 on the day. He had his single infield. He chopped one over in the middle of the infield, I should say. Full count. Maitland deals. Hard hit up the middle. Will it get through? It does! Christian Knapczyk with a leadoff single. He puts on the brakes at first.
Beautiful piece of hitting there by Knapczyk. 3-2 count. This guy might be the best two-strike hitter in the CCBL. Just so good at fighting off pitches. We've seen that countless times, Daniel, and leading off the games. One time he had a 12-pitch at-bat to begin the game and then gets the pitch here from Maitland and doesn't waste it. Great piece of hitting there by Knapp.
A guy we've been waiting to explode in the playoffs. Max Anderson now up with a man on first. Knapczyk speedy. I wonder if Harvey will send him. He takes a lead at first, has to scamper back after a check from Maitland.
Only thing about running here is hard to run on Matt Donlin. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the Cape League out of UConn. Him and Jimmy Crooks, who's with Wareham now out of the season.
A breaking ball catching the outer half. The first pitch, 0-1. Max Anderson yesterday, 1 for 3. He had 2 RBIs. That one was a shot into center over the head of Jace Grady. Also should probably credit the sun for that hit as well.
Yes, indeed.
As Jace Grady got completely lost in center field with the setting sun behind us. A couple of checks over to Christian Knapczyk. It's still 0-1 with Anderson in the batter's box. 1-0 in Reeves. I said another key to this game was really getting out ahead and working with the lead. And I don't think 1 run is good enough, but we're going to take it. A breaking ball, swing and a miss, 0-2.
Yeah, regardless of how Parsley's pitching, it's almost inevitable Cotuit's going to get a run at some point. Their offense is too good not to. So if you're Bourne, you got to capitalize on these leadoff base runners, and in this case, a leadoff single.
Max behind 0-2. No outs, top 3. He takes a breaking ball on the outside for the first ball, 1-2. And again, Maitland looks like he's transitioning more towards a breaking ball pitcher now. Really sticking with those off-speed pitches, 1-2. Hard hit up the middle, scooped up, tagged second, and they got him at 1 as well. Ryan Ritter with a double play.
Yeah, about as tailor-made and easy as they come. Right up the middle, Ritter, all he has to do is really land on the second base bag with that plant foot, and then no chance for Anderson to beat the wrap. Count that as 6-4 DP. 6-3, excuse me.
As routine a ground ball as you're going to get, Max Anderson grounds one right up the middle. 2 outs. Dalton Rushing takes a breaking ball inside, and they call it a strike. Oh, 1, 2 outs. Rushing 1 for 4 yesterday. It's 1-0. Fastball high. 1-1. Our last trip to Lowell Park, Dalton Rushing had a home run early on, a solo shot over the right field wall, playing about .330. 1-1 breaking ball, a big cut and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, you saw Maitland really feeding Rushing those breaking balls in the first AB, and on a 2-strike pitch, he left one out over the plate, and Dalton leashed an RBI single to right. It's the only run of the game thus far for the Braves, who lead it 1-0 here in the third.
1-2. Breaking ball inside, just misses. Maitland already making his way off the diamond. He has to stay on the mound, though. 2-2. 2 outs on deck is going to be Tanner Schobel. Dalton Rushing at a hard-hit line drive over the head of Eric Brown Jr. at second in his first appearance. From the windup, breaking ball outside and a payoff pitch upcoming. The Braves lead 1-0 in Game 2 of the West Division playoffs. The Braves lost by quite a margin yesterday, looking to bounce back. Breaking ball outside, called a strike. A really tough call. That's going to end the inning. Dalton Rushing in disbelief as he flips the bat and was ready to go down to first. Now he has to make his way to the dugout. It's 1-0 heading to the bottom of the third. Daniel Coates alongside me, Reeves Jackson in Game 2. Back at Lowell Park, bottom 3. 1-0. The Braves take a lead early on in the top of the first. Other than that, no runs scored by either team.
Yeah, quite the opposite of last night, isn't it?
Absolutely. Parsley, our ace, deals first pitch, fastball a bit high to Matt Suggs. And how about Parsley? Other than Jace Grady's base knock to start the game, he has been stellar. No outs, bottom 3. That fastball gets him back on track, low and outside, 1-1.
A good pitch there from Austin, who's been filling up the zone with first pitch strikes here today. But after a 1-0 count, gets back in there.
Parsley now sitting at 29 pitches. His breaking ball upstairs misses, and 2-1 count to Suggs, who was 2 for 3 yesterday. He had a home run as well as 2 RBIs at Durham Park. Parsley delivers from the windup, taken foul over the backstop.
Can almost feel the tension in the air, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Very reminiscent of yesterday before that shot from the Cotuit Kettleers. I believe that was Brett Roberts' 2-run shot.
Yes, indeed.
And once
And
that,
after that, it was
pretty much game over as a 2-2 misses outside fastball.
It was the Roberts shot that was called back for a double.
Yes.
And then it was Matt Suggs.
Matt Suggs.
Who's up to the plate now with that 2-run blast. And that was a no-doubter.
Well, Suggs really broke the ice yesterday. A full count to him now. Swing and a miss. Down he goes on to one knee. Austin Parsley strikes out Matt Suggs, who was 2 for 3 yesterday. And the Braves are cooking early on here at Lowell Park.
How about Austin Parsley? Boy, has he been phenomenal here in the early going. You got the 9-hole hitter Donlin now, and obviously would like to retire him with 2 down before you turn things over to the top of the order and the always dangerous Jace Grady, who I can assure you not his only time he's going to be on base today.
9-spot hitter Matt Donlin fouls it off back into the fence. After Donlin, we're going to have the one spot, Jace Grady, who is responsible for the only hit against Parsley today. 0-1. High to right center, Joe Lampe trotting over for it. Should be a routine fly ball. He's got it. In deep right center, a fly out from Matt Donlin. We are to the top of the order for the Cotuit Kettleers, 1 out away from sending it to the top of the 4th. How about Austin Parsley? I mean, just impressive stuff. And one of the most impressive things, not that we're just watching a one-hit performance at the moment, but his pitch count is so low.
Yeah, so low. I mean, he's been unbelievable. What is he at now? 34 pitches after that breaking ball? 34 pitches for Parsley, who gets ahead in the count with a breaking ball. They're 2 2/3. Unbelievable.
Now 1-1 with a changeup high and outside. 2 outs to Jace Grady, and talk about a hot batter coming in for a 2-for-5 game yesterday. Already has a base knock today. Big swing and a miss. Now 1 strike away from ending the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, if Grady collects another hit today, it'll make it 7 consecutive games in which he's had a multi-hit game. And Austin trying to silence Grady here.
1-2. Fouled off, battling. Jace Grady stays alive, 1-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. It's Game 2 of this West Division playoff series, best of 3. Cotuit, I mean, to say the least, got the better of us last night, but Parsley responding quite well. 1-2. Hard hit line drive. It's foul. If he straightened it out, I think it might have been gone.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That ball was crushed. Crazy thing is, what? You had 29 combined hits in Game 1 last night. 18 for Cotuit, 11 for Bourne. You had 5. We're almost through 3 innings. It's not even close to being on pace with last night's hit totals.
1-2 taken to center field. Joe Lampe coming in. He's got it for out number 2. A line drive right to the center fielder. Austin Parsley ends the bottom of the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, and the Braves are rolling. The Bats have to get going and get some insurance runs. But 1-0, the Braves have taken the lead. And just like that, we've arrived to the top of the 4th, the middle part of Game 2 of this West Division best of 3 series. The Cotuit Kettleers have the advantage, 1-0. They came into Dorn Park and defeated us by a score of 15-6. One of the hottest offensive hitting teams in the Cape, now being silenced by Austin Parsley. A breaking ball outside for strike 1. Looking is Tanner Schobel.
Yeah, Tanner's been phenomenal in the cleanup spot for the Braves. 404 average in his last 11 games.
That fastball well outside, sitting at high 80s. That was 89 on the gun from Maitland, who's now going as long as he has ever gone this entire season for the Kettleers.
Yeah, his previous high, as that one misses away for Maitland. His previous high was 3 innings. That was early on in the season, July 20th. Well, early on for him, I should say. Arrived late from UMass Dartmouth.
2-1 well outside, skipping into the glove of the backhanded Donlin.
But we were talking to some of the people for the Kettleers, including Peter Flaherty, who's actually going to be working as a scout for the Yankees here soon. He's saying that he could see Maitland as a guy that could be working out of the Boston College bullpen, but instead at UMass Dartmouth, very talented pitcher.
3-1. just a bit high, and Tanner Schobel now walked trotting down to first. On base for the first time today. Joe Lampe gone on base with a walk himself in his first appearance and now steps up for his second.
And nothing new for Joe, just 22 walks on the season that leads this team. So
another reason why oftentimes Harvey Shapiro opts for him at the top of the order. Not today, though. He's batting in the 5 spot. Check over to Schobel. He dives safely.
Hey, here we go, Goat!
Maitland now going north of 60 pitches.
Yeah.
Most certainly his most of any outing this season.
his outings. Don't know if they have it here.
The delivery. Joe Lampe thought about it, but passes. It catches the upper and outer part of the zone with a fastball, strike one.
Let's just say this. The previous high that Maitland faced as far as batters was 13. He's already passed that here today. So by far his longest outing of the season, most batters he's faced in any game this season.
1-1, breaking ball low and outside. Donlin on his toes with the speedy Tanner Schobel at first. Behind Lampe will be Hunter Jump. Hunter Jump and Ben Huber flip-flopping from the 6 and 7 spot. And Maitland really concerned about Schobel at first. He dives back once again safely. 1-1.
Yeah, something we've seen from Maitland today. 2 free passes, 1 to Lampe, 1 to Schobel. Had 10 walks in 14 2/3, so he will walk his fair share as well.
Joe Lampe shows bunt, pulled back. It gets away from Donlin, and Schobel was not quick enough. They're going to call that a strike, 1 and 2. But Schobel opted not to take advantage of a loose ball off of Donlin's glove. Didn't get too far, stayed in the circle.
Yeah, no chance for Schobel to advance.
1-2, they check on him again.
Something Maitland has been doing a lot today. He's been checking on these Bourne Braves runners a heck of a lot more than we've seen at any point during the season.
1-2. Lampe taking one into center. Dropping down, that's going to get in for a base knock. Moving Schobel over to second. A blooper over the head of the middle infielders, Ritter and Brown, and it drops down shallow of Jace Grady.
Yeah, great piece of hitting right there for Joe Lampe. End of the bat, got it off the end, and now Mike Roberts out with a visit. The Cotuit bullpen is busy.
Cotuit's looks like they're going to make a pitching change, and they will. We'll tell you about the new Kettleer pitcher just after this break. Trevor Kunkel now in for the Cotuit Kettleers from George Washington. We saw Cohen last night, a George Washington pitcher, another one in the playoffs for the Kettleers. Men on first and second.
Interesting, expecting the bunt here from Jump.
The bunt laid down, popped up, foul. Donlin can't make it to it. He is stopped by the fence over by the dugout of the Kettleers. It stays at 0-1, and Tanner Schobel now at second. Joe Lampe with his first single of the postseason at first.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep the bunt on for Jump, obviously with one strike. I assume they will. Infield playing obviously in bunt formation for the Kettleers, but Jump, who knows? Don't know how good of a bunter is. We did see him lay down one bunt actually this season, a sac bunt back to the pitcher. I believe that was also against the Kettleers.
0-1 to Hunter Jump. Breaking ball outside for strike two. A nice looking breaking ball that drops off the table and on the outer part of the zone.
Well, he'll be swinging away here with two strikes, but the third baseman Roberts still playing in. Same with the first baseman Martorella. So it should be an interesting scenario here. Jump obviously got that base hit last night with Roberts playing into the bag or even with the bag, and Jump just sent it over his head. We'll see what happens here with two strikes.
Behind early, 0-2. Jump's going to be protecting. A pickoff move for Schobel. No one defending the base. He trots back safely.
The purpose of that pickoff move right there is to solely pick up the leg, and then you turn to see if Jump squares around the bunt. He didn't. So the Cotuit defense, although not really changing much, still coming in here with the bunt defense.
0-2. Fastball high and outside. It misses. 1-2. 94 on the gun from Kunkel.
Yeah, he can bring it. Kunkel, a 2.89 ERA and 9 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, 5 walks. Had his season high 3 strikeouts and 2 1/3 innings versus Brewster July 17th. Also a late addition to this Kettleers bullpen.
1-2, high and deep to right. Going back is Noah Bridges. And that's going to be a home run! A 3-run shot from Hunter Jump. The Braves have blown this up 4-0.
Wow. Hunter Jump absolutely tormenting a hanging breaking ball. We were waiting for a minute as Grady retreated back, but Hunter Jump got all of that one.
Hunter Jump extends the lead to 4. It's 4-0, and he jumps all over Kunkel behind the count and sends a rocket over right center. Almost the same spot where Dalton Rushing sent one in our last trip to Lowell Park.
Umpires getting together here. I'm not exactly sure why Mike Roberts was out to check. Maybe checking to see if it bounced over the fence. But I don't know what else they could be looking at here. That was clear as day a homer, and I don't know what else they could have been looking for. The runners didn't pass anybody, which would result in an out. So I imagine this would stand as a home run here. But this lengthy conversation going on here.
Well, the umpires are now convening. They have separated. Let's see what they have to say. But
I think that means it's a 3-run homer. They're not saying anything, so it should be good.
A 3-run shot from Hunter Jump. And for a guy who, to say he was struggling might have been an understatement. He had 1 hit in the regular season.
Yeah, and 18 at-bats, had a second hit a night ago.
And behind, with his back against the wall, 0-2. He sends a shot over the right center wall. Ben Huber responds foul. It is 4-0. The Braves have taken the lead early on, and Cotuit and their fan base are stunned after a big victory at Doran Park last night. 0-1. Kunkel fastball on the inside for strike 2. Huber looked at it, 0-2. And how about that for Hunter Jump? We've talked about guys who need to step up, who haven't always been there really for the Braves, and Hunter Jump is a guy that we needed today. Chopper right back to Kunkel. He runs over, underhands it for out number 1. Hunter Jump was behind early. A weak ground ball, and he handled it easily on the to quite a situation, and just like that, now behind 4-0.
Hey, your turn, Colby.
Colby Thomas now in the batter's box. He gets hit.
We got ice.
First pitch hit right on the left hip. He makes it down slowly. He looks okay, shakes it off, takes off the shin guard, and makes his way down to first.
Yeah, that was a tough one. 93 right in the back for Colby, but the Braves will take the base runner, one down, and now 9-hole hitter Petey Burns will get a chance.
Peter Burns now steps in, the left-handed catcher behind the plate. He was 0 for 2 last night. He has Colby Thomas now on first with only one out in the top of the fourth. Kunkel checks on him. Reeves, an interesting look over there at first from Martorella. He's not on the bag, instead a few feet off of it. Is there any strategy in that?
I don't know. It's all, to me, just first baseman's preference. I know that Martorella, as that one misses away to Pete. Now, 1-0, 93-mile-an-hour fastball. I think it's all just first baseman's preference because Martorella's done that all season long. Meanwhile, Dalton Rushing holds him on. Also, another reason, I'll tell you after this pitch. Here's another reason why.
1-0, Peter Burns. That fastball on the outer half for strike one. Now knotted up at 1-1.
Lefties defensively have the freedom of doing that for the sole reason that when they catch the ball, they don't have to turn their body to tag. They can just slap the tag. That also allows Martorella to be positioned better defensively once the pitch is made. So that's a strategic reason right there.
1-1, breaking ball chopped into the Braves dugout. It's now 1-2, and Peter Burns popped out to second in his last appearance, and that ended the second inning.
I'll give you another reason. Also, he's off the bag a little bit, gets the pick off, has a better chance at tagging the legs or the feet of Colby before the hands can get back into the bag. Gives him a little bit of an advantage there.
1-2. Slap down the left field line, right into the glove of the running Matt Suggs. Colby Thomas has to retreat back to first.
Yeah, good defensive positioning there by Suggs on left. Looked up, and as soon as the ball was hit, it looked like it was fading towards the line. I thought it was going to get down, but a nice job there by Suggs, who, believe it or not, actually was shading Peter Burns towards the left field line. Obviously, Pete, not a prototypical pull hitter. Usually tends to go to the opposite field, so nice defensive position there by Suggs and the Cotuit defensive staff right there, and maybe saved a extra base hit.
Colby Thomas remains at first. Kunkel still on the mound, and Knapczyk watches a fastball miss outside. Christian Knapczyk on the day, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. He scored in the top of the first to give the Braves a lead. This is exactly the recipe for a Braves win. There goes Colby Thomas. The throw from Donlin skips on the backhand. It gets by Ritter's glove, but Colby Thomas remains at second and on top of it.
Well, Colby, who had second base stolen the last time he was aboard with a single, but slid off the bag because of how aggressive the slide was. Make sure to start the slide a little bit earlier this time and would be 2 for 2 in stolen bases, but he'll take a 50% rate here through his first 2 times on base. Speed for Colby today.
2-0. Knapczyk now his man at second. Colby Thomas, first pitch to him, or first strike I should say, on the outer half. He watches it. It's 2-1, 93 on the gun from Kunkel. Something that we talked about off air was our lack of success at Lowell Park. As that breaking ball misses outside. Now 3-1, and we talked about it even in the game, the first travel game that we had here at Lowell Park that got canceled because of rain. We were down early in that.
Yeah, down 5-2 early on. Big 4 on second inning for the Kettleers.
3-1. Colby Thomas dancing with the lead at second. That one catching the outside corner, and Knapczyk had already made his way down halfway the first base line.
I will say that call on the outside half has been very consistent all day long. You saw it with Hunter Jump striking out looking. You saw it with Dalton Rushing striking out looking. And Ritter to Knapczyk, similar spot. I'm not going to fault the umpire. As long as it's consistent, which it is, then I have no problem with it.
3-2. Kunkel fouled off by Knapczyk. Something he does best is battle with his back against the wall. It stays at a full count. 2 outs in the top of the fourth. A Hunter Jump 3-run shot to right center is really what has blown this game up. It's 4-0. The Braves have the lead. A payoff pitch from Kunkel. This one taken high, a blooper down the left field line. Incoming, that's going to drop fair. Here comes Colby Thomas, rounding third. The throw from Suggs, not in time. They call him safe. No slide from Colby Thomas. He makes his way across home plate. An RBI single from Christian Knapczyk, his third of the game. He's 3 for 3 on the night.
How about Knapczyk right there with 2 outs? It allows Colby Thomas to get the head start. And obviously Knapczyk just dumps it in. Shallow of Suggs, who can't quite get to this one. Obviously, Peters was a lot more hard hit. This one dumps in there. Strong throw. Colby Thomas had to kind of dodge which way Donlin was going, but stands up, and it honestly might have saved him. And saves the Braves another run. Then Knapp's aboard at second after the throw home.
5-0. Anderson takes one foul. That's going towards the fans. It drops safely. Everyone's okay as people scatter here at Lowell Park. 0-1. Knapczyk now on second, an RBI double for him.
How about Knapczyk? 3 for 3. It'll go as a single and then advances to second on the throw. 3 for 3 for Knapczyk today.
0-1. Swing and a miss from Anderson. He's grounded twice to short. He only has one hit in the postseason. One of the best batters throughout the entire season for the Braves, coming in a bit late, really taking over for the offensive vacancy of Caden Wallace. Fastball called in the outer half. Anderson does not agree, but as you said, Reeves, that has been a consistent call the entire game. Going to the bottom of the fourth, the Braves explode for 4 in the top of the fourth. It's 5-0. The Braves respond and have a 5-0 lead going into the bottom of the fourth. The Braves now have the lead for the first time this playoff series. It's 5-0. The Braves up 5 after a 3-run shot from Hunter Jump and an RBI single from Christian Knapczyk. And there goes Parsley again, a fastball catching the outer half to Carter Trice in the 2 spot for the Cotuit Kettleers. On the same spot, maybe just a bit outside. That one called a ball, 1-1. And talk about momentum on our side. You can hear the away fans for the Braves making some noise. 1-1, swing and a miss from Carter Trice, the designated hitter today, who was at third last night. Parsley making his way towards that 50 pitch mark. 1-2. This one slapped into right center. Going over there is Colby Thomas. He's got it for out number 1 on the run. A good start again from Austin Parsley.
Boy, has Parsley been excellent, hasn't he? He's been phenomenal today. Gets the fly out of Trice. Now has to deal with Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown, but it's much better and much more efficient dealing with those guys when the bases are empty, like he has here.
That is absolutely correct. Ryan Ritter, who flew out to Colby Thomas in his first appearance, takes this one high and deep to center field. Joe Lampe making his way back towards the wall.
Ooh.
Puts up the glove and makes the catch, but that one had Braves fans holding their breath, out number 2.
Yeah, Joe Lampe was seemingly camped under it and then started to backpedal. Obviously, as an outfielder, always teach you to turn your shoulders and run back, and I thought Lampe, obviously, he thought he was camped under it and backpedaled and made the catch just before getting to the wall. No warning track here at Lowell Park. That's something that outfielders have to navigate. They need a lot of communication from their outfield friends on the other sides.
That's the 46th pitch from Parsley, and it's a breaking ball that catches the outer and upper half.
Yeah, talk about efficiency for Parsley. 46 pitches, almost through 4 innings, just 1 hit allowed, and he's got a commanding 5-run lead.
0-1. Fastball in the outer half. Again, a spot that the home plate umpire has been consistent with throughout the entire game. 90 on the gun from Parsley. His velocity is looking good on this hot and humid day in Cotuit, Massachusetts. Game 2 of the West Division, and the Braves are not done yet. The 0-2 are just a bit outside, 1-2 with another 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Brown on the night, 0 for 1. He was 2 for 5 yesterday with an RBI at Bourne Park. Parsley from the windup. Swing and a miss. Cotuit goes down once again at the hands of Austin Parsley. We're going to make our way to the top of the 5th. The Braves have a 5-0 lead on the road.
Reeves Jackson now joined by Nick Galley as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Nick, how you doing?
Oh, baby! We're doing good.
We're doing great. We are loving it. Here's Dalton Rushing leading things off here against Kunkel, the right-hander from George Washington University. 92 miles an hour, a fastball misses downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
I told the guys today, I was talking to them, I was going full Kevin Millar 04 Red Sox on him.
I love it.
I said, Cotuit better not let you guys win tonight. They
Good.
better not, because you win tonight, Cotuit's going home tomorrow.
You're darn right.
I mean, this is a statement game.
It is. It really is. And we talked about it last night. First, the 2-0 here from Kunkel to Rushing, and he takes a big cut but misses through a high fastball at 94. 2-1 the count. You don't want to lose game 1.
No.
That's obviously, you know.
Well, thank you, Reeves.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
But you'd much rather be on the side of winning the second game that sends it to the
3rd game.
winner go home. 2-1. Rushing,
If
a
you had to
half-hearted
pick.
swing, and he goes 2-2.
If you had to pick,
If you had
yeah.
to pick, obviously. If you had to pick, the series is going to be split, and you know it's going to be split, but do you win game 1 or game 2? Obviously, every team's going to take game 2.
Yep.
So for the Braves, if they had to drop a game and they had to win a game, well, they're doing it in the right way, at least for now, through 4 innings. 2-2.
That's a good lead. That's a
Full
good
count.
lead.
That is a good eye there by
That's
Rushing.
the thing I love today. These guys are really, really, really working the count. They know Cotuit's bullpen is in shambles. They know the pitching staff is down bad. As I said earlier in the pregame show, working the count has been big.
3-2.
And
that's
that is,
high.
oh, let's go, baby.
Dalton Rushing with a base on balls, and the Braves have a leadoff man on for the heart of the order in Tanner Schobel.
Oh, you
And
love
he
it,
has been
man.
phenomenal.
You know, as a beat reporter, I try not to get too big of a fan of the team, but you got to keep in mind today, this is all we got. We're out of a job tomorrow.
We
if they
are.
don't come
We
through.
are, really.
So
It's an unpaid internship.
yeah, I mean, technically we are the highest paid interns on staff.
We are.
We're tied for it,
We're tied.
along with everyone else, but
But technically, you're not wrong.
correct.
You're not wrong.
How about Hunter Jump today, too? I mean,
He's that was
Beautiful.
Phenomenal. Here's Tanner Schobel as he takes a strike on the outer half. 0-1 the count.
Austin Parsley, too. I mean, just cruising. Parsley looking like Quinn Matthews looked last
He
night.
really is. Phenomenal. He's filling up the zone. That's the thing. He's throwing strikes. He's locating those pitches, too. 0-1. Big bender there from Kunkel, and it's swung on and missed by Schobel. 0-2.
I mean, he just paints the black. And this umpire's been given outside corner. Parsley is hitting it.
Yeah, he is. The outside corner has been very fair for all pitchers today. Not necessarily the inner half. 0-2. Schobel cuts and misses at 94. A fastball for strike 3. So good bounce back hitter for Kunkel. As that'll bring up Joe Lampe, who lofted a single into center field, a part of a big 4-run fourth inning for the Braves, matching the inning total with the runs scored.
Joe's been on base twice today, and that's typical Joe Lampe.
It
OBP,
is.
OBP monster.
OBP monster. That's why I kind of like him at the top of the order
Yeah.
sometimes, but can't really complain when Knapczyk's 3 for 3. Lampe takes a strike on a fastball, 0-1.
Yeah, I do like Knapczyk down where Lampe is today, just because Knapczyk has a little bit more pop, a little more apt to get extra base hits. Lampe has the higher OBP, but nevertheless, it's a nasty duo. Nasty.
0-1 downstairs, and the count runs even here. A ball and a strike.
And if you remember, at the beginning of the year, it was Lampe Knapczyk 1-2. And I remember talking with Joe and Christian, how do you guys feel is the 1-2 spot? And Knapczyk told me we're the best 1-2 on the Cape.
Yeah, they were the prototypical 1-2. Max Anderson obviously found his way into the lineup in the 2 spot. Lampe takes a fastball. That's inside. Trying to get the call was Donlin, but might have gotten that call. Well, really, the inner half hasn't been called much today, but doesn't help, too, when you set up outside and the pitch misses inside.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not going to get much help from
No.
the blue behind the
no,
plate.
no, not at all. So you just have to know your umpire zone, and you have to hit it. You have to adjust accordingly.
2-1 the count. Hitters count for Lampe with rushing aboard over at first. Lampe takes a cut, fouls it off the shin guard of Donlin, and the count runs even.
One thing you have to look at is the mental state of this Cotuit team. I was looking at Roberts after the home run, after the Hunter jump home run. He had his hat off. He was rubbing his head. Looked like a man who had just lost his kingdom. It was insane.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Cotuit came into this game today. Game far from over.
Yes,
obviously.
no doubt.
But 2-2 first. And Lampe takes it outside, 3 into the count. But this is a Cotuit team that came in today, and I'm sure their expectations were fully,
Blowout.
after last night, we're
Blowout.
taking this one again.
And I have no doubt in my mind, Mike Roberts is already thinking towards tomorrow. If this goes to a game 3, who
Who will
is
that throw?
pitching?
Yeah, it's a fair question. 3-2 the count. And Joe takes it, inner half fastball called strike 3. Not much arguing from Lampe. And he'll go back to the dugout, back-to-back strikeouts from the Cotuit right-hander Trevor Kunkel.
And I'll be honest with you, man, he has zero clue who he would throw tomorrow.
Yeah, you really don't. If I had to guess, someone who threw against the Braves in the 13-2 win is Fruit.
Yes. He started, didn't he?
He did start. He was like their opener. Let me pull up the numbers. Zach Fruit is the name. As here is Hunter Jump, who lofts this one foul out of play. The pivotal moment in this game, and a moment that the Braves could ultimately end up looking back on if they're fortunate enough to win today, win tomorrow, advance in the championship, as the key moment in this series when Hunter Jump blasted a 3-run
Yes, without a doubt. And I mean, I know in that little pre-game or pre-playoff preview, I said you got to watch for Hunter Jump.
It was Theo Bartolomeo, our scout
Yeah, I will
liaison.
shout out Theo. Theo
Yeah.
did bring it up in our living room since you now live with us.
Thankfully.
Not paying rent either, might I add. Gave me 2 McNuggets last night. Said, here you go.
I was hungry.
2 lukewarm McNuggets.
I told you
That's fine.
I could microwave
It's
them,
fine.
and you
It's
denied
fine.
it. I told you I
Relax.
could microwave them. 0-1 misses away, 1-1 the count. I said, Nick, let me put these in the microwave. I'll get them warm for you. You said, no.
Bro, Nikki,
I want them
Nikki
right now.
G.
And then you complained.
Hey, Nikki G was hungry too. I was starving.
Couldn't wait 25 seconds?
No.
1-1 the
Got
count
places
here.
to be, Reed.
to
Writing
Hunter
to do.
Jump. At 1 in the morning, 1-1. As Jump takes that one down and in. 2-1 the count. You talk about the crowd today, Cotuit. How special is this to be here?
It's not that big.
In this atmosphere.
It's really not that big.
You got the crowd in left field and center, the fans along the outfield, the grandstands, which we talked to Peter Flaherty, one of the scout liaisons, first here. The 2-1, though, from Kunkel, who kicks and fires, and this one is lofted into left field. In comes Matt Sugg. Should be easy for him. He slips and falls, but somehow makes the catch.
God.
In left field. The feet went out from under him, but luckily the ball was planing right into the glove.
You know what we say after plays like that? Scoreboard.
Scoreboard indeed.
Scoreboard indeed.
It's 5-0 Braves as we head to the home fifth. Daniel Coates back to my side. Noah Bridges into the box here for the Braves. Excuse me, for the Kettleers. Back on the mound for the Braves, I should say, excuse me, is Austin Parsley out for his 5th inning of work. Bridges, Roberts, and Martorella with the Kettleers struggling offensively today. What we talked about, what if these games that we've seen between these two teams, the first one misses outside and away upstairs 1-0. It's been Cotuit scores a bunch, then Cotuit scores one, Cotuit scores a bunch, and, well, this game, Cotuit's being shut out. So it's an interesting flip-flop as this one is grounded foul, past the bag at first, 1-1.
Yeah, it's a funny pattern that we have going. Both teams have each other's number. It's just whether they're going to show up that day or not.
Well, the blue skies have appeared over Lowell Park. It is a picture-perfect afternoon as we have time called here as Mike Roberts had a question for the third base umpire. Bottom of the 5th inning. Braves leading 5-0. 1-1, a Parsley changeup that moves away and a little high. 2-1. Braves with 7 hits. The big one in this game, a Hunter jump, 3-run homer. As a home plate umpire apparently asking to close a gate. Or maybe something going on in the Braves bullpen. But regardless, Parsley toes the rubber, and the 2-1 is spoiled out of play.
Parsley's fastball is not the fastest we've seen. We even know Kunkel and Maitland have one just as fast, if not faster, but the release out of his hands is so quick that it seems like it speeds up as it goes towards the plate, and it has these Kettleers behind.
Well, here's a dilemma that Harvey Shapiro could be faced with here soon in this game. 2-2 fouled away. I don't know if Nick Galley will listen and see what Nick thinks as well as you, Daniel. Here's the thing you could do with Parsley with his pitch count. You could maybe get him through 5. You have a 5-run lead and maybe bring in Ben Etheridge, potentially saving Parsley if you win tomorrow, make it to the championship. Or, as this one spoiled foul, you have the mindset of, let's just win this game, and you throw Parsley through 7+ innings. Nick Galley says you got to pull him. Let him go, excuse me. You were pulling something out of your glove, so I wasn't sure what you were doing.
I say you let Parsley go as long as you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
You go.
It's, two interesting perspectives because you got to win the game first at hand to even get to the championship. That 2-2 misses, and you never really see Austin Parsley show much emotion on the mound, but he was not happy with that call.
And that's a pitch. That's really the only miscue I've seen so far, in my opinion.
That looked like a perfect pitch. It's been on the outer half where it's been a called strike 3 all game. Well, if they're getting called strikes for Cotuit's pitchers, it's got to be for Parsley as well. 3-2, bounce to second. Schobel gets the friendly Sunday hopping over to Rushing for out number 1.
Yeah, and going back to that topic, I think you settle as much with one pitcher as possible. So I want Parsley to go as long as he possibly can. And then you start thinking, if we're able to hold this, Jake Bennett and Jasek are still available for tomorrow. And you can't think that far out, but I agree. I say you let Parsley, this is his game. We said do anything necessary to bring it to tomorrow. Is that ground ball?
First pitch swinging, Brett Roberts. Once again over to Schobel, who's at second today. And the same result for the Kettleers. 2 groundouts to second and 2 away here in the 5th.
But I say you go with Parsley as long as you can. Get out of here with a win. It seems like they're having trouble getting on top of Parsley's ball. And
well, here's the flip side of things. Agreeing with your thing here, agreeing with what you just said. If you ride Parsley as long as you can, well, that saves bullpen guys for tomorrow and a potential championship series.
Yeah, most certainly.
Here is Martorella. Away ball 1 on a changeup.
I think it's a win-win if you let Parsley go 6 innings, 7 innings.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
I don't see the flip side of it other than if he starts really breaking down and letting pitches out there. Other than that, and that pitch hits for strike 1, now 1-1, but that is still 89 on the gun, and it looks like he has all of his command on top of it.
1-1. This one skied high and deep, right center field. Lampy retreats. He's at the wall. He makes the catch right before the fence. Austin Parsley has retired 15 consecutive hitters since allowing a leadoff single to Jace Grady. Folks, he's on cruise control as we head to the 6th and a 5-0 Braves lead. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you here in the top of the 6th inning. A new pitcher to tell you about for the Kettleers, someone we are familiar with, at least from our last game here. For the Braves beat the Kettleers 13-1. That was the second to last regular season game. It is Logan Adams from North Carolina State, the big, tall, 6'6", 235-pound right-hander. And against Bourne, 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. But if you pitched in that game, if you were a Kettleers pitcher, it probably didn't go well considering Bourne scored 13 runs.
Yeah, that was the one game that the scale was really leaning towards our side, that's for sure. And it looks like it's going to today. We're going to see Adams for the second time in 1 week. And Ben Huber, who's been a bit quiet today, he struck out in the second and grounded to first back in the 4th, looking to jump on out over Logan Adams. His first pitch catches outside.
Well, this makes you really wonder what Mike Roberts' plan of attack is with tomorrow's game, because this is Logan Adams, who in 3 appearances has given up 2 earned runs in every outing this season. So 6 runs, a 14.72 ERA for Adams. So this could be Mike Roberts as a strike called on the outer half, 0-2. Not necessarily waving the white flag, because Adams is an excellent pitcher here from NC State, but maybe trying to save pitchers for tomorrow, guys that have been better at least this summer season. We'll see how it plays out. 5-0 Bourne, 0-2 to Huber. Is spoiled out of play, was late on a fastball, but got connected with it at 91.
Yeah, and that's a smart play because, again, the home plate umpire's really calling everything outside. You know it's not your pitch, but you spoil it over the stands regardless, and Huber now lives to see another day, 0-2.
0-2. Here for up number 51, the big tall right-hander is taken to right field. Heading back there is Bridges, and he's under it a few feet in front of the fence for out number 1.
Good hit from Huber. If it had just a little bit more, I think he was a bit hesitant to go after it. He was still protecting the plate. If he put everything he had into it with the wind going out to center field, that right center ball might have just been able to drift over the fence, but Noah Bridges was there for out 1, and Logan Adams looks like he's off to a good start.
So an F9 for Huber brings up Colby Thomas, who's 1 for 1. A single and hit by pitch and takes this one to center. Going back is Grady. Grady turns. That ball is over his head and off the wall. Colby Thomas rounding second. He's got his eyes set on third. Head first slide. He's safe. It's a triple for Colby Thomas.
How about that aggressive base running from second? The slide did it. Really, the head first slide that got his hands in, according to the third base umpire, really beating out the throw. The tag was there from Roberts, and so was the throw from center, but Harvey Shapiro stands there with his hands crossed, and I don't think that was his idea for Colby Thomas to go second to third.
Well, you got to be aggressive in the postseason, and Colby Thomas, have a day, why don't you? 2 for 2, a single, a triple, and a hit by pitch, a run scored today, looking for his second. Here's Peter Burns, 9-hole hitter, infield in. Breaking ball that he spoils and chops foul. Nice catch by Christian Knapczyk in the on-deck circle. 0-1 the count. But Colby Thomas was my pick to pop today. Laced that ball over the head of Jace Grady in center. Thought for a slight minute it was going to have a chance to get out of here with how small this park actually plays. Adams ready, 0-1. Breaking ball on the outside corner, strike 2.
A beautiful breaking ball, goes from 12 to 6 real quick, and Peter Burns has had to deal with 2 now. He's behind 0-2. Colby Thomas at third, and something we've talked about with Peter Burns is how effective he is when the moment is right, especially with men in scoring position.
Peter Burns, excuse me, swing, line drive foul, stays in 0-2. Nothing in 2. Peter Burns lays off on a breaking ball. Definitely did not go around, and they appeal to the third base umpire, who waves the arms out, and it's 1-2 here to Pete. Well, a 6th run would be highly welcomed from Bourne. Can never get enough in a postseason game, especially you never know how the tides can turn with a dangerous Kettleers offense. Just 1 hit, though, for them today. Parsley has quieted them. 1-2 from Adams. That hits Peter Burns. A breaking ball into the knee, and the Braves get a base runner, first and third here for Knapczyk.
Peter Burns is a tough guy. Getting hit by balls as a catcher is really nothing out of the ordinary. He's gotten under the first 2 appearances, a pop fly to second base and a fly out to left. Back in the 4th, he was hit by a pitch there, and this inning continues. And again, we talk about it all the time. Peter Bourne's not necessarily the best in the average column, but on base percentage, he's up there with the best of this Braves lineup. He's in the top 5, now improving on a .333 on base percentage from yesterday and before that throughout the regular season.
Here's Knapczyk. See how the Cotuit infield wants to play this with the speedy Christian Knapczyk.
This is a situation for Harvey Shapiro that we really haven't seen utilized as much as other teams. A first and third situation. You have Peter Bourne, who has that catcher's twitch at first, Colby Thomas at third, and Adams takes a step off. He recognizes the situation. No real signs coming from Donlin behind the plate. If you're Harvey Shapiro, are you sending Peter Bourne?
I'm not. No, not with the catcher. First pitch to Knapczyk. That's a changeup that misses in the dirt. 1-0. I think with the ground ball, obviously, well, first, it's not a guarantee that Colby could score from 3 anyways if they sent Pete, and Pete with not great speed wouldn't want to risk, especially with these middle infielders. Very talented. And trust Knapczyk can score the run here with his speed. Shows bunt, gets it down. It's a safety squeeze, and it's going to bring the Braves' 6th run across. What a job and perfect execution there by Knapczyk. And Colby Thomas comes on home. A little page out of Mike Roberts' book that Harvey Shapiro just stole.
Well, they got him at first, but Knapczyk, how about that? He gets Colby Thomas home. They knew it the entire time. That's about as pretty a squeeze as you're going to see at home plate. Donlin and Adams just had no shot the entire time, even though they were right there. Knapczyk, who we've seen go after the bunt time and time again, does it. With that RBI, the Braves lead by 6.
Here's Max Anderson, a Brave aboard at second, and Peter Burns.
How about this? You can hear the tomahawk chalk all the way down the right field line.
You can indeed. It sounds fantastic. Good to hear here at Lowell Park.
Well, Game 3 looks more and more likely. The more runs we score, we're leading by 6. We know that this is a Cotuit team, however, that can explode at any time. However, Austin Parsley has only allowed 1 hit on the game, and he's retired 15 in a row. I mean, this guy is feeling it on a different dimension.
Here's Max Anderson with Pete aboard at second. Defense in regular depth and a first pitch fastball called strike at 91 for Adams. Well, Adams has given up another run, a triple to Colby. He hit Peter Burns on a 2-strike count and a safety squeeze by Christian Knapczyk. Nothing at 1. And misses low. A fastball at 92. 1-1. Count evened up here. Anderson on the day 0 for 3. He's had 2 bounce outs over to shortstop. 1 was a double play, and he struck out looking in the 4th. So did have a 1-hit game yesterday. Had the 2-run double, but other than that, been a little quiet here in the first 2 games.
Yeah, Max has been quiet. He only has 1 hit in the postseason. Would love to see him get involved and start being that 2-spot hitter that we know and that we recognize. He hasn't really been that since the postseason has started. However, he has an opportunity to send another run in.
1-1. Breaking ball. Grounded hard to second. It's going to eat up Eric Brown, and Anderson's going to be safe. An error by Eric Brown Jr. And this Braves inning is extended here to Dalton Rushing. Rare error by the Coastal Carolina second baseman.
That is a rare error from Eric Brown. It went right off his chest. It's what you are taught to do, keep it in front of you, but Max Anderson was hustling down the line.
Yeah, just trickled away a little too far.
It is counted an E4.
Yeah, so Anderson will be 0 for 4 on the day, but he'll take getting on base. A hard hit grounder, 2 down. Here's Rushing. And that fastball misses outside here. 1-0. Up the middle defensively is Ritter, playing almost behind the bag at second on the shift with Rushing. As back-to-back fastballs, this one almost hitting rushing, had to back away from it. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Well, with the Braves getting helped out by that error by EBJ defensively, they would love to capitalize and score even more on Cotuit and ride this momentum into tomorrow's Game 3 elimination if the Braves can hold off Cotuit here today. Breaking ball misses away, and Adams 1 ball away from loading the bases for the Braves' hottest hitter, Tanner Schobel, and they're just going to go ahead and put rushing on. An intentional walk with a 3-0 count, wanted nothing to do with him there. And well, Tanner Schobel walking up to the plate like, okay, want to deal with me? We'll see what happens.
If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that's the second time a Bourne Brave has been intentionally walked this season.
Yeah,
and I think both don't rush it.
You're right about that.
I'm trying to go back in my memory as to when that was.
I'm not sure, but
again, Dalton rushing.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he leads the team in home runs with 6. He has that big play ability, and now with bases loaded, Tanner Schobel up.
And Schobel takes a breaking ball that catches the corner at the knees on the outer half, 0-1.
Schobel coming in the final 5 games is about as hot of a batter as you're going to see, along with Jace Grady on the diamond today. He was 3 for 5 last night, 0 for 2 today, but an opportunity with the bases loaded. Not to mention he has 3 home runs.
0-1. Schobel high chopper over to third. Roberts has the easy job of just touching the bag, and that will end things for the Kettleers here in the 6th inning. But the Braves get another run, a triple by Colby Thomas, brought home by the safety squeeze of Knapczyk, and we head to the home half with all Braves. It's 6-0. You're listening to the Bourne Braves YouTube audio live stream with Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates on the call. Back here from Lowell Park with the Bourne Braves leading 6-0, shutting out the Kettleers after getting hammered a night ago. And got a special guest now here on the Bourne Braves broadcast. It is Steve Peralt. Steve, the host of the Section 10 podcast from Barstool Sports with Jared Carabas. Also do some stuff with Bleacher Report Walk-Off and host of the live BP show on WEEI. Steve, it's great to have you.
Little this, little that.
Yeah, little this, little that.
Very excited. So I got to be honest, I'm playing neutral today because I was on the Cotuit broadcast.
Okay.
So,
How was that?
But my allegiance is with you guys because you had me throw at the first pitch last night. So I am rooting for Bourne. It's going very well. Looks like we're going to get a Game 3 tomorrow.
That's what everyone wants in sports, right?
Yes,
the
exactly.
Final game.
You want the decisive game.
Yes,
That's what you want.
Winner go home. Here is Matt Suggs, digs in against Parsley. His first pitch, a strike, and allowed a leadoff single to begin this game, but since then 15 in a row. Steve, what have you seen from the Bourne Brave starter today?
He's been cruising, man. I mean, I've been trying to educate myself on both teams in the last 2 days and then act like I know what I'm talking about. But no, he's been dealing.
This one is skied into center field. Joe Lampe retreats a few steps and camps under it for out number 1.
But I got to ask you, give me the breakdown here. So what do we, on the bump, like what do we got? What specialties, and then what's the season breakdown so far?
36 strikeouts compared to just 1 walk. That was coming into the game today.
1 walk?
1 walk
Jeez,
on the
okay.
season. So strike thrower.
Yeah.
Velocity doesn't jump off the charts to you, 88 to 91, but
Okay.
dude just knows how to command the zone,
Yeah.
work his off-speed pitches in, and gets hitters off guard. Just ERA just a hair over 2 this year. So
1
he's
walk
been,
is filthy.
yeah, from UNC Greensboro. This one spoiled out of play by Matt Donlin. Obviously, Steve, the Section 10 podcast, you guys get to talk to many guys in a light setting
Yes.
that wouldn't be considered a light setting outside of that podcast. So tell me what that's like. Obviously, you had Heim Bloom on the podcast, excuse me. So kind of walk the audience through what that is like, getting to talk to those guys.
It's a lot of fun. I think from the jump we let them know that we're not there to get them. We're not like, well, I mean, this would be a time to get them. They've lost 7 of 8 games. We're not going to talk much about that.
Yes.
But no, it's great. It's great. They trust you that you're just going to kind of shoot the breeze, and that's what we do. We keep it casual, and Heim Bloom was great. I think he picked a good time to hop on. A lot of fans are kind of killing him for his lack of moves at the deadline, but he's a mild-mannered guy, no BS, and just kind of to the point, and I respect that.
2-1 the count here to the 9-hole hitter and UConn catcher Matt Donlin. And pops this one up a mile high in foul territory. Braves third baseman Anderson over right near the third base coach's box to make the catch for the second out of the inning. Steve, obviously, how many Cape League games have you gone to?
This is my third.
Okay.
I haven't been able to get to that many.
Okay.
So I'm full-time with BR, and then Section 10 and Live BP are kind of take up the rest of my time. So
Sure, it keeps you busy.
Exactly. So we went to Harwich early in the year. We went to Orleans on opening night.
Okay.
My dad and I have been going to games since the 90s. We've been going to a lot of Cape League games. But I got to say, Lowell Park's awesome. Lowell, Duran's great. I mean, the teams that are left have really good. I would say the fields are probably the best part of what they have to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Boston Red Sox and Jaron Duran have a Wareham Gateman, a CCBL alum. That kid's special, isn't he?
Duran is on the COVID list, but
Yes.
it's because of tracing. Apparently, he wasn't irresponsible or anything like that. But we're waiting for Duran to turn it up a little bit. But he's had some big moments so far with the Sox, so we'll see.
1-1 count here to Jace Grady. Tell me here, Steve, what's the favorite part about your job? That what you get to do with everything you do with BR, with Section 10? And
Yeah. It's talking to the players in a casual setting where we get probably the most authentic answers you're going to get. After the game, they have to deal with these reporters that have been doing this job for a long time. No disrespect to them, but it's kind of the same questions over and over. And it's like, I want to learn. Exactly. I want to learn more about these guys as people. And I think we've done a good job of doing that over the last 5-6 years, and hopefully keep doing it, down the road here.
Well, I think it's crazy. The crazy thing about the Cape League is so many of these players, you watch them now, and then 3 or 4 years from now, you see them in the big leagues.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. I mean, we were watching Jacoby, Kevin Youkilis, Tim Lincecum, some of the best guys.
This one hit deep into right field. Heading back is Thomas. This one stays fair. It's inside the line. A solo shot for Jace Grady, who has now hit in 7 consecutive games with a multi-hit game. And the Kettleers are on the board with their first run.
Yeah, solo shot. You're fine.
5-run lead.
Yeah, you're good.
That's why you got the run last inning.
Exactly. 2 outs. He'll be fine. Settle in. Best part about a solo shot, now you got nobody on the bases.
Yes.
Clears out
Yes,
nobody.
exactly, right?
The most silver lining thing of all time. He's been cruising. You give up a run, whatever. No one cares. He's fine.
Breaks the string of 17 in a row retired by Parsley.
My goodness.
Right?
And that's it for him. Looks it, unless we're going to get a little
it's the pitching coach, Eddie Marco.
I was going to say, calm him down a little bit.
If I had to guess, trying to get Parsley through this last hitter here in Trice and then turn it over to the bullpen for the final 3 innings.
Only 3 innings. I think that's the way to go. I like this.
How did you enjoy the atmosphere last night at Bourne Park?
It was really good.
This crowd is special, though.
It's hard to top Lowell Park.
It is.
And I understand we're talking Bourne here, but Lowell Park's great. I can't even blame the Bourne fans. They had nothing to root about. I mean, that got out of hand early.
Yeah,
so it's
7-0 in the third.
How excited am I going to get? But I love that park. We've been going there for a while. I went to the old Bourne Park back in the day when Youkilis was playing for the Bourne Braves. But, yeah, it's one of the better parks in the Cape. And hopefully, settle down a little bit here, get a game 3. So that's the goal. That's what we're looking at.
There's Carter Trice, 0-1. Obviously, Mitch Moreland, another Bourne Braves alum.
Mitchie Two-Bags.
Yeah, Mitchie Two-Bags, indeed.
He's still doing it. I kind of wish he was on the Sox this
year. Out in Oakland, right? Believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He's still doing the damn thing. But would have preferred the Red Sox brought him back. They've gone with some other options at first base. Our guy Bobby Dahlbeck has not necessarily had a great go of it. He's a Cape League guy as well.
Yes, he is indeed.
But, we'll see. We'll see what happens at first. That's the problem with the Sox right now. They're trying to figure out first base. Kyle Schwarber's played 1 inning there. Yeah. And then talking with Heim Bloom, he said they feel comfortable with Schwarber over there. If you feel comfortable with the guy that's played 1 inning, fine. Know, I know Heim. The one thing I know is he's smarter than us.
Yes.
So I trust him.
I guess that's why he's there.
Exactly.
This one lifted to deep center field. Joe Lampe retreats. Lampe is at the wall and hauls it in for out number 3. Well, Steve, we'll ask you to stay around. We'll have my broadcast partner Daniel join you, but appreciate the time and really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man. That was great.
Appreciate it. We'll go to the top of the 7th inning. The Kettleers get a run, but the Braves lead it 6-1.
All right, welcome back on. Again, we have Steve Perrault to my left. I'm taking over for Reeves Jackson, a 6-1 game, and a fellow South Shore, Massachusetts guy next to me, and it's a 6-1 game. We have a 6-1 lead, 5 runs for the Bourne Braves, who are looking to win this in 3.
This series is going 3, and that's my analysis. Back to you guys in the booth.
Well, Steve, it's a pleasure to have you on, as always, and you threw out the first pitch yesterday as Joe Lampe now takes to the lefty batter's box, and you were going between the heater or if you wanted to strike. It was a bit high, but you said it's better than a dribbler over.
Yeah, you don't want to bounce it. You don't
No.
want to bounce it. That's what I was told. We had a first pitch before me, and it was gas. So I was trying to match that energy, but no, it was good. It was good to throw out the first pitch, and it's a better result today.
Swing and a miss. Foul ball off of the ankle, actually, for Joe Lampe. He's now behind 1-2.
You just don't want to be a jinx, right?
No.
You don't want to be a jinx. You don't want to be the reason why Bourne's losing. You guys have been great to me, and I'm not trying to come on here and have a bunch of bombs hit while I'm doing a little breakdown of what's happening here.
Well, Reeves came on, and I heard a bit of a crowd roar, and all of a sudden I look over, and we have one on the board for Cotuit here. But, again, what a response for the Braves. 6-1, swing and a miss that gets away from Donlin.
Might have fouled it off. I think you got a piece there.
Looks like he got a piece. So 2 foul balls from Joe Lampe, but you've been going to the Cape Cod baseball games since the 90s for a long time.
Mid-90s, yeah.
This is a team in the Braves. They haven't had a team like this in quite some time, looking to get that first championship title since 2009. And it looks like a great series. We might be going back to Dorham Park tomorrow. And just tell me about your experience with the Cape League. And as a huge Red Sox fan, of course, your experience with these players coming into the big leagues.
Oh, he booted that one. I'm going to take this one here. Ground ball to short. He boots it. Oh, my goodness, what a terrible play. You got a runner on first base here. No outs. Hopefully you can add on to the 6-1 lead by the Bourne Braves. I think that was good, right?
That was good. I like the little. And you had
It's all about you want to just like get the voice in there and just by the Bourne Braves. So I feel really good about that.
You got to add a little bit of the nasally sound.
Exactly, a little gusto. It. But no, I mean the Cape League's the best, man. It doesn't get any better than this. I've been coming to games for a long time. We've seen some of the better players: Tim Lincecum, Kevin Youkilis, Jacoby Ellsbury, like I mentioned last half inning. But this park's great. I love going to Duran, and most of them. There's only a couple Cape League parks. I'm not going to name any names. Wareham, that's one of them that I don't love, but this is pretty awesome here in the atmosphere. It feels like a playoff game, which is nice.
Yeah, and this is one of the only games where you can really feel the intensity and the atmosphere.
Yes, I would agree.
Of a playoff game, and of course Wareham. I don't know if you know this, but our road setup there, we call it the Shark Cage because we're set up on top of the away dugout. That one's taken high and deep to left, foul. Or I should say fly ball to Matt Suggs. It drops in for out number 1, and retreating back to first is Joe Lampe. So Max Anderson goes down once again.
You say you call it the Shark Tank?
They call it the Shark Tank.
Okay,
so
break it down.
They have on the third base line, on top of the dugout, there is a platform, and it's so hard to explain what exactly it is, but there's a platform there surrounded by a net.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any angle of where the pitch is going over the home plate. And there goes Lampe, the throw from Donlin. Can he get under it? They call him safe. A great slide from Joe Lampe, and now a man in scoring position. But they call it the Shark Tank because it's all fully enclosed, and you can only call a game without – you're pretty much guessing where it crosses home plate.
Yeah, you're like swinging a drive. Just kidding. That is strike 3. I have no idea what's happening.
It's unbelievable stuff, but –
no, it's. I mean, you go down the line. I'm pretty sure Cotuit's the only one that's just a Cape League park, and that's not also a high school park around here. But it is a great place to have a game, and it was the last one I went to before the pandemic. Unfortunately, I'm a big Harwich guy. Cotuit beat Harwich in the championship, and it wasn't a great day. But it's again always fun being at this park, and the atmosphere is always top notch.
Well, Cotuit's going for their 18th CCBL championship. They're going to have to deal with the Bourne Braves, who now have a 6-1 lead with Ben Huber on a 1-1 count. That one taken high. And, Steve, you talked about coming to the Cape League games, and this is a team in the Braves that they have single-digit in the loss column.
It's insane.
It's crazy. And we didn't get our first loss until early July. We went 8-0-2, and our first loss was against the Cotuit Kettleers at Dorham Park. Hard hit, ground ball, the diving Eric Brown Jr. He throws it over to first. Nathan Martorella for out number 2, but Joe Lampe improves to third.
I got to say, in my 2-day analysis for Cape League baseball, that kid's good. There are certain players
Yes.
where you can just tell they have the swagger. People that we played with growing up, it's like, oh, I know that Joey over here is one of the better players on the team. The second baseman on Cotuit is filthy. I don't know his name. I don't know where he's from. I just know he's very good. That play was nuts.
Eric Brown Jr. and Ryan Ritter are known as the two best middle infielders in the Cape League, especially for Cotuit. They have been so solid, as well as our Tanner Schobel and Christian Knapczyk. But going and looking at Cotuit as well, they're a team that is as hot as any team. In the 7 games coming into this series, they scored 66 runs.
Jeez, my goodness.
Unbelievable stuff. This one taken
A
foul.
lot of foul balls over here. I got to say, my instincts are still like when I was 9 years old, that I'm chasing after that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter that I'm 30 now. If I see that ball, I want to get it, and you just got to remind yourself you don't want to be trampling kids, so I'm trying not to do that.
We have a huge crowd here. We actually at Durham Park, a lot of the foul balls will end up in the in
woods
the dirt
area.
pile, the woods
Oh, that's
area.
right. That's right. Yeah, what's going on over there? What's the deal with the dirt?
There's a new development. So we play at Cape Cod Upper Tech, and so that's really up to them. But poor Will Henschel, who's to our left, has to remind the kids and the parents that you can't just be climbing all over it. It's really a hazard when there's a foul ball that goes over there.
I'll give Will credit. He did a great job of announcing me doing the first pitch yesterday, so that was incredible. And, again, the pitch was high, but it doesn't matter. It wasn't bounced.
1-2 to Colby Thomas. Joe Lampe in scoring position, stalking the third base line. That one drifts high. And if you had to guess, I know you went up to the Cotuit press box with the carries.
Pretty
and
nice up there, I gotta say.
I know.
It's not bad.
It's a nice setup. But
Yeah.
if Game 3 rolls around, who do you like if the Braves can hold on to this 5-run lead?
The biggest thing that I'm going to look at, and this is, again, educating myself over a 2-day period, is the pitching matchup. I would need to see who's on the bump on each side, and I would definitely make a decision based off of that. But I got to be honest, you guys have been great to me, so obviously Bourne's going to win in 3. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That was a comment I had on your Instagram yesterday. I said, you think, no, I would rather go into Game 3 having won Game 2 with the confidence.
Exactly.
This one taken to center. A high fly ball. Jace Grady ends the inning. Steve Peralt, thank you as always. It is a pleasure having you as a guest.
Absolutely.
And a fellow Bourne Brave fan who, if you're saying Bourne Braves in 3, I think that's what the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm going to say Bravos in 3. That's what we're going with.
Bravos in 3. You heard the man. We're going to go to the bottom of the 7th. The Braves lead 6-1. Welcome back to the bottom of the 7th. The guy that we have only seen once. We're used to seeing him at third, and he's now on the mound. Zach Agnos from ECU taking to the mound in relief for Austin Parsley. And, I mean, talk about the day that he has had. Really giving the Braves the start they needed with their backs against the wall. It's now 6-1 with Agnos taking over.
How about Zach Agnos being relied upon as the first pitcher out of this Braves bullpen? I think if you're Harvey Shapiro, that says, well, it says two things. It says a lot about Zach Agnos, but B, it says a lot about not really necessarily having the depth of success in the Braves bullpen right now. So for Zach, 5-run lead, take it over, my friend.
Zach Agnos starts him out with a fastball on the outer half, 95 on the gun.
Wow. He's feeling it. I tell you that, Daniel. He's feeling it.
Well, we talked about Zach Agnos, and we talked a little bit with him in the early part of this season about just how his recruiting went. That one taken foul. It's now 0-2. Just as his recruiting went, and really, he was mostly known as a pitcher coming out of high school. He wanted to play in the field and bat as well, and that is why he ended up at East Carolina for the Pirates. But he doesn't often take to the mound. He does here, though. He's 0-2 now to Ryan Ritter, the 3 spot. The delivery. Breaking ball, that's going to do it. How about that 85 on the gun with a breaking ball dropping into the outer part of the zone. Complement that with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and we might see one of the best relievers we're going to get in the playoffs.
Who would have ever thought when the Bourne Braves were really searching for guys in the bullpen, they found a diamond in the rough with Zach Agnos, someone, as we talked about his recruiting process out of high school, he said, there was a chance I could have been taken in the 10th round as a pitcher out of high school, but I wanted to go pursue East Carolina to hit. He loves hitting. As a first-pitch breaking ball as a strike to Eric Brown Jr., we saw Agnos make that appearance for the sole purpose of Bourne just needed pitchers. And they found Agnos, who's obviously had plenty of success at the high school level in pitching, 2/3 of an inning, a strikeout, no runs. Came into the game with the bases loaded.
0-1 taken high over to Christian Knapcheck. Max Anderson coming across the diamond and takes over. That pop fly is going to do it with 2 outs, and Zach Agnos is now in at pitcher. I mean, I have no words for what we are seeing.
I'm laughing because there was a pop-up. Zach Agnos could take that ball if he wanted to. It's no different than being at third base, really.
Zach Agnos should have taken over. Usually he would have at third base, but Max Anderson's there right
I was also going to say this might be the best defensive fielding pitcher in the CCBL. He's been phenomenal at third base all year for the Braves.
0-2 on the inside for strike 1.
How about this? I'd love to see it. I expect Agnos to take the Braves into the 8th, past the 8th, through the 8th, I should say, and then have Eric Adler slam the door.
0-1.
Wow.
Breaking ball and a
Change-up.
swing and a miss. Wow.
What a phenomenal changeup there from Agnos.
Zach, you're nasty.
Noah Bridges, the right fielder, digging in, and he's behind early. Zach Agnos dealing from the windup with a 5-run cushion. The Braves have only given up 2 hits, one of those being a solo shot. Breaking ball inside for a rare ball. 1-2, 2 outs. It's 6-1. 1 pitch, and we end the bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss. Down goes Bridges with a changeup. Zach Agnos, have we just found our best reliever? I think we might have. The third baseman, even second baseman, now turned relief pitcher. He leads us into the top of the 8th. A 6-1 lead at Lowell Park. 6-1 in the top of the 8th. Riley Huge now dealing on the mound for the Cotuit Kettleers. He's going to be the third Kettleer we've seen on the bump, and now faces a 5-run deficit. Reeves, tell us a little bit about Mr. Huge on the mound, the pitcher.
Well, a big breaking ball, Huge from Central Florida. We saw him actually in the 13-1 win against Cotuit on August 2nd. No earned runs, did give up 3 runs, but some errors behind him. 3 hits for Huge allowed to the Braves team over an inning and a third, 2 walks. So the Braves got to him, and hoping they can get to him again here in this 8th inning and add on some insurance runs for both the combination of Agnos and maybe Adler.
Huge will be dealing from the stretch. The Central Florida product first going to face Peter Burns. The catcher on deck, Christian Knapczyk. The kick and the delivery is a bit low on a fastball that sits at 86. He'll be sitting in the high 80s, maybe even scratching 90 with the heater. But Burns on the day is 0 for 2, 0 for 4 overall in the postseason. He was hit by a pitch in his last appearance. Foul and a 1-1 count. And again, hit by a pitch, Peter Burns proving that if you can't get it done with the bat, you got to boost that on-base percentage somehow.
The king of OBP for the catcher position for the Braves this year.
1-1 bounces into the glove of Matt Donlin for ball 2.
Well, Daniel, this is usually when games would be starting at Bourne Park at 6 o'clock. This game has been briskly moving along here in the 8th inning, just past 6 o'clock.
2-1. Huge's breaking ball just catches by the knees of Peter Burns. It's 2-2.
What a pivotal game 3 we're going to have tomorrow if the Braves can hold on to this one. Wow.
And if you talk about atmosphere here today, talk about atmosphere tomorrow at Bourne Park if we have a game 3. This one taken opposite way. Will it stay fair? No, it drifts foul to the left of the chalk, down the left field line. And a very typical ball taken the other way by Peter Burns. He hasn't been able to stiffen one fair.
Yeah, and look, not getting ahead of ourselves here, but obviously I believe Jake Bennett would be in line. And if Agnos can bridge the gap to Adler, or if Zach wants to finish out this game, well, then all of a sudden you go from Parsley and Agnos / maybe Adler taking you through this game, if the Braves are so lucky to have that happen, to tomorrow having Jake Bennett, Ben Etheridge, and Matt Jasek. Not to mention if you need Ken Turner or Josh Eknes.
2-2. That breaking ball skips before the plate. Now a full count. No outs in the top of the 8th. The Braves have a 6-1 lead. They are on top by 5. Full count. High and deep drive. Peter Burns going back as the right fielder. Home run for Peter Burns. Are you kidding me? The Braves are clicking at a rate we have not seen before. Peter Burns, the catcher in the 9th spot with a solo shot over the same right center wall that Hunter Jump had his 3-run shot earlier on. The Boston College Eagle soars back to the dugout with a solo shot. Off of Huge.
Pete Burns. Wow. No words. Just took a fastball. That ball was a no-doubter into the trees here at Lowell Park. Jumped all over and ambushed a fastball from Riley Huge, who gets a visit here from Mike Roberts with some action in the Cotuit bullpen, but just might be a conversation. Unbelievable. First home run of the season for Peter Burns.
Cotuit,
with his dad in attendance, too.
With his dad, and we talked with him before the game. Cotuit is stunned. 7-1 with the top of the order. Huge remains on the mound, but Roberts having a word with his pitcher. How about that? Peter Burns' only home run of the season and only hit of the postseason comes in Game 2, an elimination game for the Braves. He extends the lead to 6.
Unbelievable. And the Braves get that run right back on the solo shot from Jace Grady, and Peter Burns a solo shot of his own. 7 runs on 9 hits for the Braves today. Phenomenal.
7-1 with the top of the order. Christian Knapczyk in the batter's box. 3 for 4 on the night. And first pitch chopper right over to the second baseman, Eric Brown Jr. He flicks it over to first for out number 1. And I can't get over that.
Wow.
What a hit. And not just that, but Peter Burns is really an opposite way hitter.
Yes.
And for him to pull one over the right center wall, I mean, and when I told you before off air, I think I'm feeling 2 to 3 home runs today.
You did. A big bomb from Jump, and now Pete connects. The 2 lefties in the Braves lineup.
But let's see if Anderson can improve on that. Breaking ball low, and Anderson hasn't necessarily had the greatest of postseasons. He's 0 for 4 tonight. A breaking ball low and outside. 2-0 count for the Nebraska Cornhusker and the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. He's been such a pivotal player, coming in a bit later than Caden Wallace, but he's stayed longer. This one taken high and deep to left. It's drifting foul.
Wow.
That had the distance but did not have the accuracy. It went over the fence, but on the wrong side of the foul pole.
Maxie barrels, as they call him. Barreled that one up, just needs to straighten it out a bit. As Nick Galley, our biggest Bourne Braves fan / beat reporter.
Hard hit ball. That's going to be a base hit. Fielded and dribbling out to Noah Bridges. A shot and the first hit of the game for Max Anderson, his second of the postseason. And the Braves continue to roll. Only 1 out with Dalton rushing up, who was intentionally locked in his last appearance. And the momentum wave continues to roll in Cotuit.
That sure does. Boy, if the Braves can carry this offensive performance.
Fouled off, just drifting foul on the shallow part of the third base line. A funky spinner down the foul line. The 0-1, as he one leg, looks like it might just be a stinger as he's now walking it off and looks a bit less
He
hurt.
said some very friendly words over there, too.
To himself, of course.
Yes.
It stays at 0-2. Gets off of his ankle. Oh, 2, 1 out. Looking across the Cape, we also have the Brewster Whitecaps traveling to Harwich. That is game 2 that Brewster took last night, 2-0. It's the top of the third, scoreless at White House Field. So no score in that game 2 matchup. 0-2, breaking ball to Rushing, taken in between the first baseman and the second. Staying at second base is Max Anderson. Another base knock for Dalton Rushing. The Braves cannot stop at the plate, and they're all over Riley Huge.
How about that? Just 1 out of the inning, and the Braves with 3 base knocks, 1 a homer, and 2 singles.
7-1, 1 out. The Braves have 11 hits on the night compared to Cotuit's 2, and really, you got to look at Austin Parsley as the player of the game so far.
Without a doubt.
2-hit performance. He has completely killed and silenced the Cotuit Kettleers bats. Tanner Schobel now up 1 out. Fastball misses high. Max Anderson on second. Behind him, Dalton Rushing at first. Schobel's 0 for 3 on the day. Not necessarily his best performance considering how effective he was last night. 3 for 5. Fastball, that bounces off the plate. Max Anderson easily jogs over to third. Behind him, Rushing at second. Donlin, that one just, he had no shot at fielding. It trampolined on the plate over to the net. And the backstop fenced off. Now 2 men in scoring position for Tanner Schobel, and I mean, if there's any time to get your first hit of the game, now wouldn't be a terrible one.
No, not at all, wouldn't it? At least just a productive out, a ground ball up the middle of the infield or a fly ball. Just get Anderson home. Let's get some more runs.
2-0, 1 out. Hard hit up the middle over towards Ryan Ritter. Retreating is Dalton Rushing and getting him at first. with the throw, but Max Anderson scores and makes it 8-1. A sacrifice ground out on the left side of the infield. Ryan Ritter goes for one, gets it, and makes it 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Joe Lampe now due up with Dalton rushing at second. Max Anderson is the 8th run for the Braves on the road.
And Lampe's had a nice day. Lampe was looking at the wrong player. Lampe has reached base 3 times today. A base hit, a walk, reached on a knee 6. Struck out looking, so 3 out of the 4 times Lampe's been aboard.
Breaking ball, that one gets away from Donlin. Max Anderson scoring on a wild pitch, or I should say on a ground ball over on the left side, but men now improving on wild pitches from Riley Huge. Dalton rushing takes over third easily, and Huge really struggling. And if you're Roberts for the Kettleers, you just need to get out of this without any more runs allowed.
It's the exact same scenario that the Braves faced last night, trying to use pitching that necessarily hasn't been there this year and trying to survive, and you're going to give up runs. It's like Hector Alejandro a night ago and Garrett Coe, who actually was pretty decent. But here for the Kettleers, flip-flop that, and it's Riley Huge and Logan Adams who are trying to work out some tough situations that they're putting themselves into. And for Joe, now a 3-0 count, looking to get on base for the 4th time in 5 tries today.
3-0, 2 outs. Dalton rushing with a lead at third. No coverage from Brett Roberts. Joe Lampe takes another pitch high, a 4-pitch walk for the 5-spot hitter, Lucas Costello. Now in with his first at-bat of the game. 2 outs, men on first and third. Here comes Matt Donlin to give the signs. Riley Huge really struggling after coming in for Logan Adams. Dalton rushing at third, Joe Lampe at first. Now, Reeves, would you send Joe Lampe?
Yes.
If you're Harvey Shapiro?
Yes, 100%. Without a doubt. Joe's already swiped second today, so why not go for it again?
A slow toss over from Riley Huge, just to let Joe Lampe know that he's thinking about him.
Yeah, good opportunity here for Costello. 2 down, but a runner at third. Chance to pick up a base hit and an RBI.
Costello jumps back on a breaking ball low and inside by his feet for ball 1. One and 0. Costello, the Demon Deacon from Wake Forest, picked up late in the season, takes one down the right field line and drifts foul. A well-hit ball, but couldn't straighten it out. Costello 0 for 2 last night. Hasn't really got his footing offensively here on the Cape, although he is the top spot hitter for the Demon Deacons in the ACC. A powerhouse of a program down there. Fastball inside. There goes Joe Lampe easily to second.
Yeah, another stolen base for Joe Lampe. Second one of the day. Speed demon over there is Joe.
A base knock from Costello could score 2. Joe Lampe on second. Dalton rushing at third. Huge from the stretch. That fastball low and inside just misses a 3-1 hitter's count. 87 on the gun comes his fastball for the Central Florida pitcher. The 3-1. The delivery. That one inside, called a strike. Lucas Costello was making his way down to first. That's the 3rd time that a Bourne Brave thought they were walked, but the home plate umpire had other plans. It's a 3-2 full count, payoff pitch with 2 outs in the top of the 8th, and the Braves lead by 7, 8-1 on the road. 2 men in scoring position in Costello's 3rd appearance at the plate this postseason. The delivery, hard hit ground ball, just to the left of the third base bag, foul.
Yeah, good swing there by Lucas. Almost snuck it inside that third base bag. Would have been past Brett Roberts. That's something interesting about Brett Roberts. I don't know if this is the Cotuit defensive positioning, but Brett Roberts has been almost even with the third base bag all day today. If you look at the metrics, that shows that it's not the best positioning to be in. There's 2 down anyways.
Full count for Huge. Hard hit, line drive foul for Costello. He was well ahead of it, but got good contact. It stays at a full count. Our Nick Galley excited about that. And for Costello to come through here, that would just be not only a confidence boost for him, but for this entire team, knowing that everyone has gotten their share of hitting today.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Full count. On the inside, he's walked on a full count, and Lucas Costello makes the most of his first appearance to the plate.
Yeah, great AB there for Lucas. And now Ben Huber comes to the plate for the bases. That's not a friendly sight walking into the plate with the bases loaded. Mike Roberts going to go to the bullpen. He makes the pitching change. We'll tell you about the new Cotuit pitcher when we come back here to Lowell Park.